Then their accused killer has admitted his guilt. Donnie Burgess reports on the Delphi murders documents.
Richard Allen was charged with Abigail Williams and Liberty German's murders last October. Over 100 case documents dating back to his arrest were released Wednesday. The documents say the girls died due to wounds caused by a sharp object, and that Allen has admitted to killing them several times, although his defense team says those are admissions influenced by his declining mental state. An inmate on the inside with Allen says he's being abused and threatened. His trial begins in January. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A suspension is likely coming for Colts defensive back Isaiah Rodgers. He was caught having placed bets on NFL games last season, some of those bets involving Colts games. According to ESPN, Rodgers is likely to be suspended the full upcoming season. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
Yeah, Kerr, we just got this looking up in Boone County right now. Work with me here for a second. State Road 32 is closed right now at County Road 500 East, okay? And this is going to be to the east of Lebanon and to the west of Zionsville between I-65 and US 421. State Road 32 closed in both directions because of a crash. That's in Gadsden. Also looking at eastbound 465. Good right now from Keystone Avenue 269. Northbound lanes of 465 slow at East 56 and a crash. Out of the north split at Meridian Penn. The shoulder's blocked eastbound 465 south side stop before 31 a little bit after. Traffic sponsored by B Windows. Celebrate B Windows 40-year anniversary with 40% savings on all their products. Most manufacturers rebates. Get 20 months, no interest, no payments. Trust me. I'm Matt Bear at WIBC Traffic.
4th of July means celebrating America's freedom with backyard barbecues, family fun, and of course, fireworks. But the 4th can also mean more drunk and impaired drivers out on our roads and more accidents. So please be careful out there. We've got a lot to protect on our Indiana roads. From all of us at Isaacs and Isaacs, have a safe and happy 4th of July as we celebrate our country's freedom. Just click to get help quick at WeWin.com.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, it's our Dare to Compare sale. We guarantee none of our competitors will beat us on any price on items that are apples to apples. That's Berlin Gardens, Lazy Boy, Pollywood, Tempur-Pedic, Smith Brothers of Bern, anything in our store. If you do, we'll beat the price and still deliver it for free. Now through Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Smoke this morning with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Stays high, 88. Showers and storms likely tonight. Some of those could be strong to severe. A low down to 70. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
72 and mostly cloudy on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, June 29th. It is 6 minutes after 9. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So Rob is still out and in his place again today. An encore presentation. The dude, Jim Roberts, joins me in the studio today. Are we breathing a little better today? The air quality across Indianapolis, just a little bit better than it was yesterday.
You could definitely tell driving in today. I mean, you could see the skyline of downtown a lot better. It's not as hazy. That's not to say it's perfect or even good, but yes, the air quality is a little bit better. I didn't smell it immediately when I walked outside this morning, so things are going in the right direction.
Improving slowly. Let's start off the show today talking about that document release in the Delphi murder case. Richard Allen, the suspect in the killing of Libby German and Abigail Williams walking on the trail in Delphi in 2017, allegedly confessed to the crimes in jailhouse calls he made to his wife and to his mother. He called his wife Kathy Allen, which surprises me that she hasn't divorced this guy yet, but whatever. She ended the call abruptly, and the documents they've released 100 documents, and Allen's attorney has said that his client's statements were inconsistent and they're also unreliable because Allen's mental health is apparently deteriorating in prison, and if you've seen any of the pictures of him, it looks like he has definitely lost a lot of weight. The special judge, Fran Gull, who's overseeing the murder trial of him, unsealed more than 100 documents relating to the case.
This is, I mean, clearly it's an awful, horrendous story. And we talked about this last night and a little bit this morning. These are tough for us to do, but we obviously have to talk about it because it's really important, and it's been going on a long time. And it's likely those jailhouse confessions are not going to be admissible in court. So this is all still, allegedly, these are alleged crimes that he's committed. But if it's true, what's being claimed, I mean, this guy is the absolute face of evil. 2 innocent little girls brutally murdered by this monster. And again, I have to say allegedly because he hasn't been convicted yet. But if true, this is the exact reason why we still have the death penalty in this country.
Yeah, some of the documents say that he's refusing to sleep. At one point, he was wetting down paperwork and eating that. He broke the tablet that he was using for text messages and phone calls. And he's been charged with murder. He's pleaded not guilty to both counts. And his defense attorney, Andrew Baldwin, has previously said that he's the wrong guy. And the sealed probable cause affidavit is flimsy. One of the things that we did learn through the document release is that a knife was used in the murder. He's currently being held without bail at the Westville Correctional Facility with his trial date set January 8th, 24. And as you mentioned, this has been going on for so long. That poor family since 2017.
6 years so far, and they've got at least another year ahead of them probably before it goes to trial and they get some sort of resolution. That's the best that we can hope for right now, is that family gets some resolution and closure on their lives as fast and as quickly as possible.
I always, situations like this, you always think of, you're a parent and just how absolutely devastating and crushing it continues to be.
2 little girls brutally murdered on near train I mean, everything about this story is just horrific.
It's gross. It really is gross. And you're right. That's why we have the death penalty. And if he is found guilty, fired up.
Absolutely. I hope they hook it up to his junk. It's just terrible. It's awful.
It's 10 minutes after 9. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. That is Jim Roberts, who's filling in for Rob Kendall today. He is on paternity leave. We are going to talk with Rob later this morning. He's going to give us some updates of what's going on in his life, some positive news from him. But a new phrase has emerged over the past couple days. I believe it was the Wall Street Journal who made up the word, and the Biden administration has just attached to it. They're like, okay, we're going to own it. The word Bidenomics. This is when you mush words together, right? Biden economics. This is Bidenomics.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Benifer.
We've been doing this for a long time in pop culture.
We used to have a word around our old house in northern Indiana. We had a swimming pool, and whenever there was an issue with the swimming pool, it was a pool issue, and that just became pissues. But I'm not sure if I tried to brand something so awful. But here's Biden explaining what it is. And no, this is not your volume level getting wonky on your radio. This is his delivery like normal, whispering 1 minute, shouting the next.
Here's a simple truth about trickle-down economics. It didn't represent the best of American capitalism, let alone America. It represented a moment where we walked away. And how many in this country, from how this country was built, how this city was built. Bidenomics is about the future. Bidenomics is just another way of saying restore the American dream, because it worked before. It's rooted in what we've always worked best at in this country, investing in America, investing in Americans. Because when we invest in our people, we strengthen the middle class, we see the economy grow. That benefits all Americans. That's the American dream.
Oh, there it is.
40 years of trickle-down limited that dream.
Okay, so Biden's economy is throwing a gut punch to all of us, and he doesn't even understand it.
Do you think it said start screaming on his script?
Right, end quote. Start screaming. He doesn't even feel it. He doesn't get it. He doesn't know how to even get off a platform when he's done speaking.
This is such a spectacularly bad idea to tie his last name into the current economic. Who in the Biden administration came up with this?
Well, it was the Wall Street Journal. They were like making fun of him, and they were like, yeah, let's brand it.
So Real Clear Politics just released a poll saying 61% of Americans feel the economy is headed in the wrong direction.
No kidding.
We've still got inflation out of control. The Fed, while they paused their rate hikes, said there's probably 2 more rate hikes to try and get inflation under control before the end of the year. Another part of that poll said that 55% of people don't believe Biden's economic plan is working. And now's the time
He's
that the
gonna say
Biden
how great it
administration
is.
wants to sit here and say, oh, let's call it Bidenomics. I'm going to take full ownership of this dumpster fire that we've got going right now.
He said the other day that there was 0 inflation in July. Okay, first of all, no, not true. 0 inflation in July? Dude, it's June. He doesn't even know what month it is. But speaking of shouting, he screams at a reporter when he's asked if he was next to Hunter when Hunter sent that WhatsApp text message. He claims he wasn't there. So was Hunter making that up, or does Biden have a clone?
President Biden, how involved were you in your son's Chinese shakedown text message? Were you sitting there? Were you involved?
No, I wasn't, and I don't know.
Were you?
No.
Oh, he's getting angry. Walls are closing in. Okay. Hunter Biden allegedly used his father to pressure a Chinese official to send money. A week later, $5 million hit the Biden bank account from China, according to bank records. And then $1 million just miraculously moved to Biden's brother's consulting firm.
You know, maybe this is a technology issue. I mean, Biden is advanced in his age, and maybe he just doesn't know what WhatsApp is. And maybe he's just confused by the question. He might not even know what text messaging is. Maybe the question should have been more like, hey, were you in the room when Hunter got that telegram from Western Union? Were you there when the Morse code was received? You know, at this point, he just may be confused by all this technology or anything else that's going on.
WhatsApp, what?
Yeah. Hey, what's up with you?
No, he knows exactly, and he knows that the walls are closing in. But did you know our president just sent another $500 million to Ukraine? Well, it's weird because he doesn't even know the difference between Ukraine and Iraq. A reporter asked him about Putin, and he answers by cheerleading his proxy war.
Putin been weakened by recent events?
It's hard to tell, but he's clearly losing the war in Iraq. He's losing the war at home. And he has become a bit of a pariah around the world. And it's not just NATO. It's not just the European Union. It's Japan. It's 40 nations.
President Biden, how involved? President Biden.
He just said Putin is losing the war in Iraq. Okay. That's your president. He's yelling at reporters, denying that he was in the room with the WhatsApp text message. He's saying Putin's losing the war in Iraq. Okay, so an Amtrak passenger train just derailed in California yesterday. 2 weeks ago, we had that bridge collapse in Philadelphia, right? Stuff like this going on constantly across the country, and we're sending all of our money around the world, except for our own country is falling down around us.
And do we even have a running total of how much? Because every other week it seems here's another billion, another $1.5 billion, another $500 million. I mean, we've got to be getting up, into the tens of billions now that we've sent over to Ukraine so far.
Yeah, and there's been Pentagon accounting mistakes, another $6.2 billion. Whoops.
Sorry about that.
It is 16 after 9. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Canadian wildfires.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Skies will be hazy throughout Indiana today.
Try not to spend too much time outdoors today with the bad air quality.
Smoke is lingering in Indiana and throughout the Midwest.
Hear the news.
Cleanup and rebuilding efforts from the tornadoes on Sunday.
There's been so much damage in the area.
Another update is just minutes away.
Sunday was the second time that Johnson County was hit by a tornado in 3 months.
93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. They're threatening to close your business. If debt has your business on the brink, call Ray Reynolds, the godfather of credit. For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped thousands of customers get millions in cash credit. It's no wonder why they call Ray the godfather of credit. He may even be able to raise your score above 750 before the end of the year. You could even get a new personal or business credit line up to $50,000 within days. If your credit needs a rebuild, call Ray Reynolds and receive a $1,000 cash credit card at closing. Raise your credit score to 750 or more. Call Ray Reynolds at 800-437-8110. 800-437-8110. Learn about Ray's secrets to success and how he can fix and improve your credit score to 750 or more. Call the godfather of credit rebuild, Ray Reynolds, at 800-437-8110. 800-437-8110.
The Indiana Derby is one of the best days of summer. It's the state's biggest horse racing event with over $1 million in total purse money on the line. This is Racing Rachel inviting you to Horseshoe Indianapolis, Saturday, July 8th for all the fun. The Indiana Derby has a loaded card with 8 stakes races featuring some of the nation's top 3-year-old thoroughbreds. And off track at Horseshoe Indianapolis, we've got loads of other Derby entertainment for fans too, like a free cigar rolling station for the first 500 people, a hat contest and free handicapping contest, a $3,000 mega bet drawing, a jockey virtual reality racing experience, merch giveaways, and more. All ages are welcome, plus admission and parking are free. First race is noon, and racing goes rain or shine with plenty of seating both indoors and out. So join us for the Indiana Derby, July 8th at Horseshoe Indianapolis, just off I-74 in Shelbyville. Come on out and have a day.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Bianna's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center brings together a team of experts to create the right treatment plan for you. Your circle of support just got stronger. Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Sounds like a jackal from hell.
And Casey Daniels.
Oh, hot. Want to touch the hiney.
On 93 WIBC.
Some boys kiss me, some boys you know it. 20 minutes after 9, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob Kendall is out today, and in his place, Jim Roberts filling in. Thanks for coming in again today. The dude is here.
Good morning, everybody. It was fun yesterday, so I'm glad that they asked me back again today.
Yeah, you're working for free today.
Sucker.
Yeah, you know who else isn't working right now?
Who?
Madonna. She was rushed to the hospital and intubated after being found unresponsive. This happened on Saturday.
Yeah, but the
New York.
news just came out within the last 24 hours or
Yeah.
so. So it's been going on for several days, but we're just becoming aware of it now.
Okay, so her manager confirmed that she was suffering from a serious bacterial infection that required a days-long stay in the ICU. And it's interesting. How old is Madonna?
64,
64
I believe.
years old. She had been rehearsing, apparently working around the clock for this upcoming tour. She wanted to ensure that everything was going to be perfect, and now she's being forced to postpone it. She not doing well enough to commence this international tour, and I would guess not if she's been in the ICU and has been intubated with a serious bacterial infection.
It's always, I always seem shocked when we and obviously, music superstars, there's a history of, passing too early, whether you go all the way back to Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison of the Doors. But I mean, Prince in the last couple of years passed away way too young. Tom Petty was way too young, and now Madonna's hospitalized. Yet somehow throughout all of this, the man that's still standing and blowing forward is 80-year-old Keith Richards.
He's still doing it, isn't he?
The one guy that we all thought wouldn't make it out of the 70s turns 80 this year, despite having, used black tar heroin in his arms for, better part of a decade that he admitted to. So it's always odd that, we look at these superstars and these music stars and somebody like Keith Richards, who we thought, wasn't going to make it past 30, is still going strong.
And then
all
there's
these other
Madonna,
stars.
who is like a fitness freak. And claims to, be a clean eater and all of this. She comes down with this bacterial infection. But where do these bacterial infections come from? Isn't that interesting? You have some experience with that.
Yeah, so I was hospitalized with a bacterial infection last year, and it was so bad that it ate through part of my intestines and I spent 20 nights in the hospital. This was just last fall. 20 nights in the hospital in a 3-month period, and had some major surgery to get it all fixed and cleaned up. But yeah, I mean, bacterial gut infections can be very serious, as someone who has experienced that recently.
Yeah, and I'm curious if Madonna was turning sepsis, because if she was unresponsive. Okay, now let's play devil's advocate here for just a second.
Devil away.
And I'll say it. Her ticket sales were not doing as well as they had hoped. And we're being told she had a serious bacterial infection. I almost feel like sometimes with these mega stars, really? Is that really what happened?
Yeah, their publicists have a vested interest in pushing certain narratives and stories. I mean, we all knew, Kurt Cobain, again, another great example. He had a massive drug overdose when he was in Italy, yet it was really just pushed by his publicist as exhaustion, and that's why he was admitted to the hospital. So you've got to always take these reports that we get from these big famous rock stars with a little bit of a grain of salt, because the people working for them and the people that manage their image have a vested interest in pushing a specific narrative.
And when you're in the hospital, you think, oh, he spent a night in the hospital. Oh, is you going to be okay? Yeah, everything's going to be fine. 2 nights. Oh, wow, this is serious. 3 nights. The longer things are serious, the longer.
Yeah, the days of spending a week in the hospital at the drop of a dime are long gone, and probably mostly driven by the insurance companies that want you out of there as fast as possible. So long hospital stays are very rare.
So somebody really is sick if they're there for more than a couple nights, and I'm so glad that you're
Thank you. It wasn't fun with all my hospitalization last year.
No, it was not fun.
20 nights. I think I was part of their rewards program. I needed 3 more nights, and I could become diamond level at that hospital.
Diamond level.
It means I get 2 free nights in the future.
I'm still suffering from PTSD from that. Let's not ever do that again, okay?
Yeah, I agree.
But Madonna, she's expected to make a full recovery, and her health, they say, is improving, although she is still under medical care. Now, Hunter Biden, he's supposed to be deposed today as part of a civil lawsuit. This is brought on by that Delaware computer repair shop. So Hunter, in March, filed a countersuit alleging that he illicitly distributed Hunter's personal data and accuses him of 6 counts of invasion of privacy. So, okay, you dropped your laptop off at this repair shop, and now you're accusing the guy that you were going to pay to fix it. And can we just talk about all the pictures on that laptop just for a second?
Again? Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Hunter Biden, why does this guy feel the need to take a picture of himself every time he's in his underwear?
He does. They were just selfies. He just happened to be half naked at the time. That's all. He's just a fan of selfies.
He's got a gun. He's in his underwear. He's got a crack pipe. He's in his underwear. He's with a prostitute. Well, he's in his underwear.
Yeah, there were some pictures where he wasn't in his underwear too with the prostitute.
But he's laying in a bathtub taking pictures of himself? He's gross.
He is. They were tighty whities too.
Exactly, and he's not even wearing sexy underwear. Tighty whities, we knew Clinton wore boxers. And,
right. That was the famous Arsenio Hall interview in '92 with Bill Clinton, and he asked him boxers or briefs, and Clinton said boxers, and everybody lost their minds.
Yeah, but Hunter, they're not even like. They're white, like you said, they're whitey-tighties, and he feels the need to take his picture constantly. But his baby mama with Navy Roberts, no relation to you, because she's no longer allowed to take the name Biden. So this is the mother of that 4-year-old child. Hunter and London Roberts, they reached a settlement in their child dispute case, and she was initially receiving $20,000 in monthly child support payments from Hunter, and then they agreed to lower it to $5,000 a month. Hunter showed up to that deposition as well. They were face to face for the first time, and part of the agreement was that Navy Roberts cannot take the name Biden.
And that is the most fascinating part of the story to me. I mean, why, it's too bad for the mom and the daughter that they're going to have these reduced payments, but the fact that Team Biden was so adamant that part of this agreement was that the little girl has to change her last name and can't use the name Biden. I mean, we talked about, how much Joe Biden loves his son Hunter and is so proud of his son Hunter,
He's
but
such a great dad.
Completely disowned this grandchild and now forcing her to change her name as part of the settlement and never use the name Biden again in the future.
Completely dismissive.
Is such a bizarre part of the story and seems almost out of spite and just malice toward this little girl.
Yeah, well, with everything that's coming out about the Bidens, maybe it is a good thing for her in the long run, but I'm sure he was going to claim bankruptcy, and that's why they lowered the payments. All right, we got to get to a break. It is 9:28. You're listening to Kendall and Casey with Jim Roberts filling in on 93 WIBC.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-864-9559. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-864-9559. 800-864-9559. That's 800-864-9559.
Join us at Downtown Indy's Fourth Fest, presented by UA Local 440 on the Indiana War Memorial Grounds. The event begins with a street party featuring live music, games, food, ice cream, and a beer garden from 6 to 10 p.m., followed by a spectacular fireworks display. The street party is brought to you by Indiana Donor Network and Donate Life Indiana, reminding you that one organ and tissue donor can save 8 lives and heal 75 more. Sign up at donatelifeindiana.org and talk to your family about your decision. For more info about the fireworks, go to downtownindy.org.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A tragic end. Smoky and cloudy skies downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. A state trooper killed on the job Wednesday evening. Trooper Aaron Smith was hit while standing on a road deploying stop sticks while trying to stop a suspect in a stolen vehicle. That suspect collided with Smith.
Young trooper is one of the best of us. He'd been on the department about 5 years. But he didn't survive tonight.
ISP Superintendent Doug Carter. Charges likely to be filed against the suspect once state police finish their investigation. Thousands of passengers are once again stranded at U.S. airports this week. Bad weather and staffing shortages are to blame for hundreds of cancellations and thousands of delays, even some today. Protests over a police shooting in France. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
In multiple cities, the scene was the same. Angry people lobbing fireworks, police firing tear gas. Cars in public buildings were on fire in the suburbs of Paris. It was triggered by the death of a 17-year-old delivery driver named Nael. He didn't stop his car when told to. An officer fired a bullet into his chest through the driver's side window. President Emmanuel Macron's condemned the killing and the unrest. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
And now the stock report. We're mixed at the opening bell. The Dow is up 3 points to 34,104. The Nasdaq is down 13 to 15,117. And the S&P 500 is down a point to 4,415. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Indiana Foundation Service. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at indianafoundation.com.
Indiana Digital Learning School is the perfect choice for students who desire an academic challenge with an education plan tailored to their individual needs and interests. Do you have an advanced teen that would benefit from dual enrollment opportunities that allow them to earn high school and college credits? Indiana Digital Learning School is a tuition-free online public school now enrolling for the 2023-24 school year. Learn more at k12.com/INDLS. Indiana Digital Learning School. Committed to the success of every student.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again, my blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars. Early bird special only $49.99. Thursday, July 20th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, July 22nd, Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m., stop smoking 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
It is 9:34. Good morning. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob Kendall is out today. Joining me in the studio is Jim Roberts. The dude is here. Thanks for coming in again.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Let's talk about what's going on with Ron DeSantis. He suggested that he would eliminate a number of government agencies. This was during an interview yesterday. He was asked if he was in favor of eliminating any agencies. I know the conservatives in the past have talked about closing the Department of Education. Would you do that? And his answer was to respond with a list of federal departments that he would eliminate. He said we would do education, we would do commerce, we'd do energy, and we would do the IRS. He says that he thinks the IRS is a corrupt agency and they don't do anything good for Americans. They're no friend to the average citizen or taxpayer.
Look, this sounds good, but come on.
What?
He's not eliminating federal agencies.
You don't think so? Department of Education?
The last time that a cabinet level agency was eliminated was in the 60s, and it was the post office. So it's been 60 years since anybody's been able to eliminate a cabinet level agency. You're going to tell me that? I mean, it sounds great. Eliminating the IRS, get rid of education and energy and all these other things. Trump said he was going to build a wall. He couldn't even build a wall. That's a heck of a lot easier than eliminating a cabinet level agency, something that hasn't been done in over 60 years. I just don't see it. It sounds good as campaign fodder, but I don't even know if that's working for DeSantis because he doesn't seem to be getting traction on anything right now, according to the polling. It seems like he can come out and say, look, not only am I killing the IRS, I'm going to eliminate the entire income tax system altogether, and people would look at him and go, I'm still going to vote for Trump.
Yeah. Okay, so there's this new poll came out. It was done June 23rd to the 26th, so just a few days ago. It's the 24 Republican presidential poll. Donald Trump in the lead. It's from Fox News. Donald Trump in the lead with 56%, followed by Ron DeSantis, who sits at 22%. And the big news in this poll,
what?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
What?
Yeah. Is up in third place. Now, when I say third place, you got to take it with a grain of salt. He's got 5%.
But still. I'm glad Rob's not here to hear this. He'd be rolling on the ground, moaning and groaning about Vivek. No.
All that social media stuff, it's working for him. He's so slowly inching up. 5%. I mean, come on, it's nothing. But he's outperforming Mike Pence, who's sitting at 4%. Tim Scott, 4%. Nikki Haley, 3%. At what point do these other runs just drop out? I mean, Chris Christie's not even showing up on the poll.
Well, that was always, and I think you guys talked about it here for a while, that was always what DeSantis's hope was, that all of these other also-rans will drop out at some point in time, and all of that support will go to DeSantis, and then that'll give him more than 50%. He can beat Trump, but Trump's already polling above 50% among Republicans. So even if let's assume that poll is true and holds true, even if all these other candidates drop out, it's still not enough support to push DeSantis over the top.
Yeah. Trump just keeps gaining traction as things progress. Meanwhile, DeSantis just kind of sitting there. And the other guy, did you see that article? There was an article that came out. I honestly had to check to see if it wasn't written by Rob Kendall, because it was done by, I think it was the Washington Post. And the title of the article was, "Why Does Mike Pence Even Bother?"
Oh, yeah. And I assume it wasn't written by Rob. Are you sure Rob wasn't a contributing part of that article?
No, it wasn't. But seriously, he's sitting at 4%. So at this point, why do any of them bother?
Well, we know why they bother, because they like being on TV. They like their media attention, and they're leveraging it for future cabinet positions from whoever does win it, or lobbying positions, or whatever higher status job they can get in office. From having been on television and their name talked about in the media for months and months.
Well, I think out of all of these people, the only ones who, if it becomes Donald Trump as the nominee, Tim Scott possibly a cabinet position. Vivek, possibly. But
do you think Nikki Haley still has a chance?
No.
She's done?
No, because, I mean, her and Trump, they had words when she first announced that she was running, because he views that as disloyal, that she is running against him, and she was his UN ambassador.
Yeah.
There's no way he's going to put DeSantis in a cabinet position. There's no way he's going to put Mike Pence or Chris Christie in a cabinet position.
Well, those guys are just getting out there to hear themselves talk on TV, hearing themselves in the media, and I'm sure leveraging it for some sort of, lobbying position or other high-paying job in Washington. And so that they can always be referred to as former presidential candidates.
That's like when somebody is like an Oscar nominee. They don't win, but they're always referred to as
an Oscar nominee.
Presidential nominee.
You had no chance of beating Meryl Streep this year, but still we'll call you an Oscar nominee. The 1% that you ended up getting in the Republican primary, good for you. You're still always going to be known as a former presidential candidate.
Right, just a candidate, a nominee. It is 20 minutes in front of 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. That is Jim Roberts. By now, you might have heard the audio of that whistleblower, Gary Shapley. He was the lead IRS supervisory agent in the Sportsman investigation into Hunter Biden. He states here that he uncovered conduct that warranted more serious charges that were given. And guess what? This conduct wasn't even related to gun or taxes.
There were personal expenses that were taken as business expenses. Prostitutes, sex club memberships, hotel rooms for purported drug dealers.
So it's Hunter's big day today. He's being deposed. So
that seems like that's a joke. Oh, I'm claiming my prostitutes as a business expense.
Well, okay, joke. That's called fraud. I mean, you can't do that, right? So Gary Shapley, the IRS whistleblower, he still works for the IRS, by the way. And isn't that interesting that one guy comes out and he's doing all of the TV shows, he's doing all the talk shows, he's got his name attached to being a whistleblower, and then there's the other guy who's Mr. X, who we don't know who it is. He won't share his name. You haven't seen his face. I just think it's interesting how you've got these two different approaches to whistleblowing.
Can you imagine going into work still as a whistleblower and walking into the office, working for the hey, Dave, good morning. How you doing? All the dirty looks people are shooting you.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're out of coffee. The classic office politics and infighting and that sort of stuff got to go to, times 10 when you're a whistleblower.
Well, Gary Shapley, he says that he was told to avoid leads that were directed to Joe Biden.
There were certain investigative steps that we weren't allowed to take that could have led us to President Biden.
And you wanted to take them?
We needed to take them.
And you weren't allowed to take them?
That's correct.
Okay, so there's been this media cone of silence around Hunter and Joe and this corruption. But CBS now has been covering the whistleblower stories, and they haven't been saying unproven or unsubstantiated. In fact, they independently corroborated two sources about that 10% for the big guy, and said was in fact that Hunter is holding equity for Joe. Even the New York Times is diving into the allegations that the DOJ intentionally obstructed the investigation into Hunter and Joe's bribery scheme. So why now? Why is the liberal mainstream media now reporting about the Bidens?
You'd have to
change a tune.
They certainly didn't want to, and they certainly avoided it at all costs for an extended period of time. I think that their hands being forced by some degree, and it's going to be really interesting to watch how this goes forward and see if just this constant drip of more evidence of corruption and unlawfulness and all of that just keeps seeping into the mainstream media, because we're seeing it in other areas as well, and it'll be interesting to see if that actually continues or potentially even picks up.
You call that a trickle of truth. It's breaking all of it. Okay, and speaking of Joe Biden, the White House said yesterday that he is starting to use that CPAP machine to treat his sleep apnea. He was spotted with these visible indentations in his face, and the mask lines were apparently from the mask that you put on with the CPAP machine to, help that sleep apnea. It's been known for a while, at least since 2008. That Joe Biden has sleep apnea. When the Obama campaign had to put out his medical records ahead of the 2008 presidential election, it was put out there that he has sleep apnea, but now he's using the CPAP machine. And at the time, doctors believed that he had an irregular heartbeat due to atrial fibrillation. But now they're saying it's possibly linked to the sleep apnea. But here's my question. He was out, I believe it was the South Lawn, taking those questions from reporters where he was screaming at them, no! And he still had the lines on his face. Now, I don't use a CPAP machine, so I don't know, but how tight did he have that around his face? And did he just wake up a half hour before at 9:30?
We do know he does like his naps.
Well,
that's
clearly
been documented. He likes his naps, so maybe he's sitting there all in his suit and tie, fully dressed, and
with his CPAP machine on?
Lays down on the couch in the Oval Office and puts the CPAP machine down and immediately, walks
just
out to the Rose Garden.
Back? Or is he setting his good morning alarm for 9 a.m. and he's okay? Like,
it does seem a little weird that maybe it's strapped on a little too tight because they were obvious. I mean, they were deep grooves in his, like, right around his jawline.
Right, and after you get up, maybe have some water or coffee, you take your shower, those lines are going to go away after a little bit, right? After you rehydrate, maybe he's dehydrated. I don't know.
That'll be the next big story. Sources are telling us that
Joe
Biden's doctors are concerned that he's not drinking his 8 glasses of water a day.
Right? I just think it's just weird that he still had those lines in his face at 10 in the morning.
All I can think about when I picture Joe Biden in a CPAP is the bad guy from the Batman movie Bane. He had the big mask right around his face.
Yeah. I wonder if he sounds like Darth Vader. Breathing in it. It is 9:45. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Hammer and Nigel show coming up later today, 3 o'clock. Charlie Arnold, previously of ESPN, now with Outkick and Fox News, our special guest. All the fun starts at 3:93 WIBC.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-240-1465. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now, 800-240-1465.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-240-1465. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-240-1465 or oxcarcare.com.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, Johnson County's American Standard independent heating and air conditioning dealer, invites you to celebrate America's birthday with them and have a shot at winning a Yeti cooler. Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling will be at the Franklin Firecracker Festival Monday evening, July the 3rd, by the stage with giveaways and a chance to win a new Yeti cooler. See you at Youngs Creek Park in Franklin. And with the hot weather, if you need AC service, visit callthemarshallnow.com. Marshall is your American Standard air dealer.
Okay, here's our to-do list for the road trip.
Wait a minute, Tire Discounters isn't on here.
That's because I know you'll go there anyway.
I was just on their website.
There's a shock.
They've got a road trip ready sale going on right now. They thought of everything. Oil change, brake and alignment checks, wipers, rotation and balancing.
Okay, go.
Will do.
You love Tire Discounters. You want to marry Tire Discounters.
Honey, we're just friends.
Get your family road trip ready and save.
There's a lot of sexy content on the internet. And there's WIBC, full of faces meant for radio. Hammer and Nigel, Kendall and Casey. Okay, Casey could be on TV. Now streaming every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/WIBC.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
It's 11 minutes in front of 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob Kendall is out today taking care of a new baby. And he's going to call us this morning. I know. I can't wait to hear from him, too. We were texting late last night, and I'm excited to hear about the whole experience and actually get some stats and details. He did send me a picture of the baby, but she had a little hat on. So I don't know if she's got hair and what color it is. So I'm excited to hear.
Did you get like the height and weight?
No, that's what I'm
those
saying.
are the statistics you're waiting for? Isn't that interesting that we always do that with babies? That's like the first thing. It's like they're being drafted in the NBA. Right. 6'6", 240 pounds. No, she's 20 inches and, 7.6 pounds.
Yeah. So we're going to hear from him later on this morning. But the debris, that's Jim Roberts, by the way, the dude's filling in again today. Encore presentation. Thank you for coming in. So did you see that the debris from the Titan submersible that imploded at the bottom of the Atlantic as it tried to reach the wreck of the Titanic, it's been hauled ashore? There were huge chunks of metal, and you could even see the nose with the porthole. That's where the 5 men were going to be looking out to see the Titanic. They were unloaded onto this Horizon Arctic ship at the Canadian Coast Guard Pier in St. John's. But I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to this, but
but please give it to me.
But those pieces were a lot bigger than I anticipated.
Well, I think that was part of the narrative, and this is we see this all the time when there's some sort of unexpected tragedy or news event that's breaking. Generally, the first reports that come out are inaccurate, but all the reports that we heard were that at that sort of depth, 12,000 feet, that, they died instantly. There wasn't going to be any remains, and we weren't going to have this sort of, particles or chunks or pieces of the fuselage of the item. And now all of a sudden that's happening. And I'm sure it's just based on the fact we didn't know. It's entirely possible that maybe this ship never made it all the way to the bottom. That's never been confirmed as far as I'm aware. So maybe they had this implosion at a lot higher depth than what we originally, assumed or presumed had happened. And so maybe that's why we've got larger chunks of the vessel than we thought. And there's also reports that there are potential human remains that they're going to find too. When again, that goes against what we heard from the experts initially, that these people were there wasn't going to be anything left.
Well, and that's the thing. They kept saying that it was a catastrophic implosion, right? But I guess in my mind, I was just thinking the thing was going to be blown to smithereens and there were going to be just pieces. And they said debris field. And I was just expecting smaller pieces. And it makes me question, are we still sure that everybody died instantly? Probably. I don't know. As you mentioned, human remains have been discovered with the debris, and the remains are now going to be transported aboard a ship to come to port here to the U.S., and they're going to undergo testing and analysis.
Yeah, they said they might be able to find exactly where the weakness is because there's so much of it available and intact. They might be able to pinpoint the exact spot where the flaw occurred and the disaster happened.
But they also said that they're going to undergo testing and analysis of the human remains. Like, what do they need to test?
Well,
Let them rest in peace.
I think that happens in a lot of these, tragedies where the family members probably would like something to be able to say that they were able to bury their family members and give them some closure.
Okay, so from one high-end tourism event to another, today the Virgin Galactic plane is set to take 4 very wealthy tourists into space. So this thing, I mean, it's amazing looking. It is beautiful. It's got ceiling windows so that you can see out into space. You can see every angle. Unlike the Titan, which just had that one portal, this Virgin Galactic plane that's going to space has windows everywhere. So if you're sitting in this machine, you'll be able to see everything well. You'll be able to see a lot of vacuum of space, stars perhaps, but it's going to take 4 paying customers to at least 250,000 feet above Earth's surface. And it's 60 feet long. It has a 27-foot wingspan, and they say the design is a minimalistic cabin interior described as elegant but progressive, experience-focused concept. And
is that what it really said?
Yes, that's how. I mean, it's progressive.
It's like they're describing a hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton or something like that. Which I guess if you're paying that kind of money, I want a little pretentiousness in the description of my accommodations.
Right,
yeah,
you better make it look good. Well, Richard Branson talks about having space for all and even your chance to win a trip. Interested?
We are in the stage where we're putting the finishing touches on our entire customer experience. And so it's a huge day for the team. It's a huge day for the people who've worked so hard to design and build and fly the interior. And it's a huge day for the whole company. The cabin really has been designed in some ways around one thing, which is the view of Earth from space. And so every customer will have 2 windows to themselves. And, in a fun twist, every customer will also have 2 cameras focused on them to capture every aspect of their experience.
So that's like when you go on a roller coaster and, you get the picture.
Get the
and then
picture later.
After you get off the ride, you go down and you see your face like, every person will have a camera in their face. But don't you think since the recent Titan accident, it would deter rich people from these other world high-end tourism experiences?
Absolutely not. People still pay a ton of money to climb Mount Everest. They're still shooting themselves off into space. If you've got that much money, you're a thrill seeker and looking for the best thrill.
No, thank you. Well, I don't have that much money, so I don't have that problem. 9:56, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thanks for listening this morning.
I feel bad for the Johnson kids next door. Their parents just use their phone for home internet. So when everyone's online, it could be mad slow. Tom can barely play a full round of Horse Commander 3. Luckily, we get fast and reliable internet from Xfinity, so I can game while everyone's on with basically no interruptions.
Hey, Jess, can I, borrow some eggs?
You want a game here?
Please.
Now through July 21st, new customers can get 75 megabit internet and 1 line of unlimited mobile together for just $50 a month for 12 months with no annual contract from Xfinity, home of the 10G network. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular rates apply to Internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Here's what's trending now. You can defer payments of a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months. 33,000 companies have already upgraded to NetSuite, gaining visibility and control over their financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. Everything they need to reduce manual processes, boost efficiency, build forecasts, and increase productivity. Whether your business generates millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, take advantage of the special financing offer of no payments or interest for 6 months at netsuite.com/today. That's netsuite.com/today.
Addiction affects almost everyone. In fact, nearly 90% of people that struggle with substance abuse don't get help. Many people don't know where to start or think that treatment is ineffective or too expensive. At Landmark Recovery, we're here to tell you that's not true. We teach a curriculum that is both effective and affordable. You can learn how to live a happier and healthier life, a life that is free from addiction. Don't wait another day to get help. Call 866-LANDMARK or visit landmarkrecovery.com to learn more.
The share it with a friend deal, even if that friend is yourself. Your McDonald's, your rules.
Treat yourself to tasty deals. Enjoy delicious bundles for $3.29. Try a crispy McChicken with small fries, savory McDouble with small fries, or golden 6-piece McNuggets with small fries. Find your favorite bundle today. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Celebrate big and save even more this 4th of July with Family Dollar. Find all you need from snacks and drinks to party supplies and everything to set the mood. Like festive decor, buy one, get one 50% off. Then fire up the grill to feed your guests. Find Wonder Brand buns and Ballpark Franks, both for just $3.25. And to wash it down, get 12 packs of Coca-Cola or Dr. Pepper at 3 for just $12. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa.
Local news in 2 minutes from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. After Fox News Radio, you're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
What will Hunter Biden tell them? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The president's son going under oath this morning in Wilmington, Delaware, in a lawsuit over his infamous laptop filed by computer repair shop owner John Paul Mac Isaac, who gave it to the FBI and
is accusing Hunter Biden of defamation after the president's son alleged Mac Isaac invaded his privacy by illicitly sharing his personal data from a laptop left in his shop. Mac Isaac claims Hunter Biden dropped off the laptop in 2019 and never picked it up after 90 days, making Mac Isaac the new owner after numerous attempts to contact Biden to pick it up.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. The laptop's contents have added to investigations into Hunter Biden's business dealings and if his dad was involved, which President Biden denies.
There is an IRS supervisory agent turned whistleblower who says there were restrictions placed on the probe into the first son. The whistleblower, Gary Shapley, he says he was prevented from taking certain investigative steps, including looking into any leads involving President Biden.
Fox's Mark Meredith. The Supreme Court could rule any minute on the president's student loan debt forgiveness plan. It's one of several cases not yet decided as the court winds its term down this month. President Biden gets 64% support among Democrats in a new Fox News poll as he runs for re-election. Former President Trump's lead has grown in the Republican race at 56%, 34 points ahead of Ron DeSantis. Everyone else is way back. Chris Christie at just 1%. He's a big Trump critic and tells Fox
the stuff he did at Mar-a-Lago with the documents, all he had to do was return them. Right. If he returned them, we wouldn't have this indictment. We wouldn't have this problem.
Canadian wildfire smoke keeps drifting over America, hazing up the sky.
Now, air quality alerts are impacting almost 120 million Americans who live in parts of the Northeast, the Midwest, even the Southeast, and inching into the Southwest.
That's Fox Weather's Katie Byrne. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What happened that ended his life? It's cloudy and smoky downtown, 75 degrees. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. A state trooper was killed Wednesday evening in Hendricks County. Trooper Aaron Smith was ahead of a police chase on Ronald Reagan Parkway near Plainfield. He had gotten out to put down stop sticks, but as he was doing so, the suspect driving a stolen vehicle hit Smith, and he was killed.
The STIP partner saw the whole thing happen. So we have obviously in-car camera footage, we have body camera footage, and that's all being reviewed.
ISP Superintendent Doug Carter, the suspect is in the hospital alive and will likely be facing charges once state police complete their investigation. As the day goes on, the air quality is supposed to improve, says Wish TV meteorologist Tara Hastings. However, but also,
we could see these air quality alerts on and off throughout the weekend, and some of it might not necessarily be from the smoke and the wildfires across parts of Canada.
Other pollutants in the air is also causing some problems. There could also be some severe storms throughout today. More of your forecast coming up. Also, a woman shot to death in Fishers Wednesday afternoon. It was at a gas station along 116th near Allisonville Road. Police believe that the shooter knew the woman and targeted her. 4 teenagers arrested in Greenfield Monday. Harrison Silcox.
Greenfield police say they had probable cause to search a car they had pulled over near State Street Monday. Inside, they found 2 guns, ammo, multiple THC vape cartridges, and several $100s in cash. 2 16-year-olds and 2 17-year-olds were arrested, but 2 of them were released to their guardians. The other 2 were sent to a juvenile detention facility and faced charges for illegal gun possession as a minor and dealing weed. Harrison Silcox, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
And the Indiana Fever have the Phoenix Mercury tonight on the road. They lost to them earlier this year at Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
They came to our place and they beat us at home, so we've got to go there with the same mindset that we had tonight.
Head coach Christy sides the Fever have lost 3 of their last 4 games. Tip off late tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, June 29th. It is 4 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Except Rob Kendall, he's not here today. He's out on paternity leave, and we're going to speak with him around 10:30 this morning.
Can't wait.
Check
get all
in
the
with
updates.
him. I know. See if his life's perspective has been changed completely in an instant.
He's a different man this morning, one way or another.
Speaking of this morning, hopefully you're breathing just a little bit better. The air quality has improved just a smidge. You can actually see the buildings downtown today, and it's expected to continue to improve over the next 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, you can absolutely tell the difference when you walk outside. The visibility's better, and I didn't smell it immediately. The last couple of days, the minute I walked outside the door in the morning, you could smell that smoky smell, and didn't have any of that today. So definitely better.
So let's talk about what's going on with Donald Trump. But first, Melania Trump. She's launching a new collection of NFTs, and this is to celebrate 4th of July, Independence Day. It's inspired by U.S. landmarks. So she's rolling out this collection. It's called the 1776 collection, and it's a 6-piece range of NFT digital collectibles, and it's comprised of images from across the United States. The images will include the Statue of Liberty and Mount Rushmore and the Liberty Bell, and each piece apparently includes a patriotic-themed music track as well. And these were newly minted. Of course, it's an NFT, so it's got a blockchain, whatever that means. But they're going to be on sale starting today through USA Memorabilia. And my report says that each one, it costs $50. Now,
Yes.
you said you saw something where they cost $150.
So I saw a report that said it cost $150. So I went to the website, US Memorabilia, and I'm looking at it right now, and they are $50 each. There's 6 different ones. Let's see, the Washington Monument, Mount Rushmore, Liberty Bell, and then 2 of the Statue of Liberty. They're limited to 500 each. So they're limited edition, similar to the Trump trading cards that happened a while ago. So that's a total of $3,000. 6 times 500 is $3,000. At $50 each, if they sell out, it'll be $150,000.
Okay, so a portion of the proceeds are going to go towards fostering the future. And it's also being reported that she is supporting Donald Trump's reelection campaign and looks forward to working alongside him and restoring hope for the future and leading America with love and strength. But speaking of Donald Trump, his lawyer, her name is Alina Habba. She was doing the talk show round, and she had a lot to say about that leaked audio. She's blasting Biden's DOJ after the tape of Trump was accidentally leaked or rather intentionally leaked. And she's saying the whole thing it's backfiring on whatever they were trying to accomplish. She says that the DOJ, not CNN, leaked the audio. And then she goes on to say that news stories of the week were just distractions from all of Hunter's problems.
First of all, it's the DOJ audio leak is how I would categorize that.
Exactly.
If we're going to be accurate, it's not the CNN one. It's the DOJ one to CNN. In order to jeopardize a jury pool, in order to politicize something that should not be politicized, and to further show the American people that we have a dual system of justice. If you look at what's happened just this week, Rob, we had a submarine as a distraction because Joe Biden's son, Hunter, who was on his way to Camp David, got caught. Got a slap on the wrist. Meanwhile, Alan Weisselberg, who did far less, spent 180 days in jail. Right. We have J.P. Morgan paying Epstein's people $250 million. Nobody covered it. This is a continuation of what we've seen, right? It's a political demonstration of corruption.
Did she just try and blame the sub accident on the Bidens, using it to cover up Hunter's?
Well, I think she's saying the media.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then she's asked if the audio leak jeopardizes the prosecution against Trump. And the answer, yes.
I think that the fact that they did this was a major mistake. So they've become so desperate that they need to use the media to play into their hand for the 2024 election, as we've seen. But what happened was we forget that there was a judge order that nobody, including President Trump, could discuss any evidence. Now, President Trump hasn't needed to discuss evidence because we're not desperate. We know the facts, and he did nothing wrong.
Okay, so Trump has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, continues to claim that he was not showing off classified documents. And when it first came out, people were saying how bad this sounded against Trump, as if it were a possible confession. Well, Trump's lawyer, she's got an answer for that, too.
But what to the people that say he says on the tape that he can't declassify it? It's his top secret, and he can't declassify it.
He wasn't president at the time of the tape. He couldn't declassify. He knew that. But he wasn't saying it wasn't declassified. He was saying presidents can declassify. As a non-president, you can't. That has nothing to do with it. It's a red herring. It's exactly what they're doing. They take cuts and pieces, just like the indictment. They put it together and they make the American people believe the story, like La La Land, that they create. It's not in fact. There is no two sides. It's just one side, and it's pieces.
Okay, so some creative editing. She's blaming that on some creative editing.
I think it's interesting that the media jumped all over this audio from Trump and said that, it proves that he was, guilty in all of this. Yet Biden just came out this week and said, I sold state secrets. All right.
Right.
There's no debate about that. And that was like, brushed under the table and hidden and packaged away. I mean, Biden came out and said, I sold state secrets,
Right. But he's not getting the same play.
Certainly not anywhere near the same play.
Okay, well, meanwhile, there's this civics poll that came out, and in it found that Ron DeSantis' poll numbers have dropped to an all-time low among likely voters. In December, he was registering at 46% favorability, but as of June, he's now hovering at 34%. So according to this poll, DeSantis is losing ground. But here's the deal. We have to pay attention to the details, because if you break this civics poll down by party, Democrats viewed Ron DeSantis with a favorability rating of 3%. Ooh. Independents at 33%. Republicans, however, view Ron DeSantis with a 73% favorability. And he was recently on NBC. Can't believe that NBC let him on. And he said at the end of the day, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And earlier this morning, we were talking about that Fox poll that came out, and that one has Donald Trump handedly in the lead at 56%, with Ron DeSantis at 22%. But if you consider the breakdown of party, you would expect the Democrats not to like Ron DeSantis, but 33% of independents saying, yeah, okay, there's still some wiggle room, and those are the people that someone like Ron DeSantis needs to get to catch up to Donald Trump.
Absolutely. That's a devastating numbers. 3% you expect, but only 1/3 of independents give favorability to Ron DeSantis. That has to change if he's going to do anything.
But 78 there, or 73 with Republicans, they like him, and he's doing well in the swing states.
But why is it, and why do you think, DeSantis keeps saying all the right things.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying all the right things, yet he's not moving his poll numbers at all. So voters, it seems to me, just aren't connecting with him on a personal level. Is he too cold? I mean, he does come across. I mean, he's got kind of a grating voice,
dismissive or distant,
and he has been accused of not being warm and inviting to the potential voter. Is that why DeSantis just can't move these poll numbers, that the voter just isn't connecting with him on a personal level?
Well, it's because all of the news is with Trump, and it's that loyalty. They are with him hard. It's Hunter's special day. We're making it Hunter's special day, mostly because we've got all this audio from this IRS whistleblower, and we want to share some more with you. He let it out exactly how much the Bidens were on the take for, and from where it came.
When prosecutors don't allow you to put the subject's name on document requests or on search warrants, then it raises the possibility that there's more information out there we didn't find. But based on all of the financial records that we did find, they've been analyzed. And it was around $8.3 million he received.
From who?
They came from China, from CEFC. Came from Ukraine and from Romania, and even the Burisma money, and it's kind of a aspect that we didn't get into, but the 2014 and 2015 tax years when the Burisma money was coming in. I mean, to this day, there's still around $400,000 of unreported income from Burisma in 2014. Hunter Biden was told by his partner Eric Schwerin that he needed to amend his returns, and he never did. So, D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office declining those charges, David Weiss requesting special counsel authority and being denied, and then the statute of limitations then expires in November or December of 2022. So those years are gone, and there's no way to recoup the money from that Burisma income.
He owed back taxes for years, millions of dollars for years.
It helps the credibility of that whistleblower that he's got the details at that level. He's not just coming out and saying, well, this happened and this happened. He's giving us exact numbers, exact dates, when the statute of limitations expires. It's a credible source, that's for sure.
Yeah, Biden should definitely be more transparent on his son's business dealings if he's done nothing wrong. Like, okay, if you've done nothing wrong, oh, there it is. There's the hitch in the getup. He also, this whistleblower, Gary Shapley, he also went on to say that prosecutors were informing Hunter Biden's defense counsel of the storage units and where evidence could have existed, and they gave him a heads up to go and move it. So they couldn't execute, even if they did execute these search warrants, they weren't going to find anything.
Eventually, the prosecutors decided they didn't support it, so I called U.S. Attorney David Weiss with my senior executive on the phone, and we said, we needed to execute this search warrant. He responded that the prosecutors didn't want to, and I asked if in 30 days, if that storage unit wasn't accessed, and that was the deadline for the document request that was served on that day, then we can execute the search warrant, and he agreed to that. And no sooner had gotten off the phone with David Weiss had we learned that the prosecutors were informing defense counsel of that storage unit and the evidence that existed there. So it completely ruined our chance to access those unfettered.
Mm-hmm. Can't go in and get the evidence when Hunter knows.
Hey, guys.
To go remove it.
You're doing something wrong, so we're going to go to your storage unit on Tuesday at 9 a.m. I know it's Thursday, so Tuesday at 9 a.m. we'll be there. Mm-hmm. Don't touch anything.
Yeah. Hunter being deposed today, and it's all very interesting. Joe Biden just needs to resign. That's all there is to it. It's 17 minutes after 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Canadian wildfires.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Skies will be hazy throughout Indiana today.
Try not to spend too much time outdoors today with the bad air quality.
Smoke is lingering in Indiana and throughout the Midwest.
Hear the news.
Cleanup and rebuilding efforts from the tornadoes on Sunday.
There's been so much damage in the area.
Another update is just minutes away.
Sunday was the second time that Johnson County was hit by a tornado in 3 months.
93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has greenlighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-864-9559. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-864-9559. 800-864-9559. That's 800-864-9559.
For over a decade, SimpliSafe has revolutionized home security, and our latest advancement is here, 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Join us at Downtown Indy's Fourth Fest, presented by UA Local 440 on the Indiana War Memorial Grounds. The event begins with a street party featuring live music, games, food, ice cream, and a beer garden from 6 to 10 p.m., followed by a spectacular fireworks display. The street party is brought to you by Indiana Donor Network and Donate Life Indiana, reminding you that one organ and tissue donor can save 8 lives and heal 75 more. Sign up at donatelifeindiana.org and talk to your family about your decision. For more info about the fireworks, go to downtownindy.org.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Receive 40% off all products, plus special manufacturer rebates and up to 20 months, no interest, no payments. Just go to bwindow.com. We'll take care of the rest.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Anymore, you're just another voice on the radio.
Travis. It's 20 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob is out today. However, we are going to speak with him in just a few minutes. Jim Roberts filling in today. The dude is here. So Anthony Fauci, he's going to join the faculty at Georgetown University.
I bet that's a nice fat job with a big paycheck.
Right. Like that. Just retire. Just go away. But legendary comedians Dana Carvey and David Spade, they did a little bit. We're bringing comedy back. They absolutely destroyed Dr. Fauci in this clip. Here's some comedy for you. I need this. You probably need us. Let's all just have a laugh.
I miss COVID.
I know. Dude, you know what I knew? There was trouble when anyone that came to our country didn't have to get a vaccine. And I go, if you're telling me I can't go to work, but everyone coming in doesn't have to get one, I go,
well, once we found out when Fauci said,
Okay, I'm sorry. If you've had 2 boosters and 2 vaccines, you can get and give COVID to another guy who's had 5 vaccines and 4 boosters. What's the difference between a vaccine and a booster? I don't know. It's just more vaccine, but booster sounds better. Anyway, a guy with 25 vaccines would get and give COVID to another guy with 25 vaccines. That's why I'm introducing the daily COVID shot. Every day you get a shot. By the time you get to your car, you got no immunity. But it's a beautiful 39 seconds.
So you remember when the Biden administration ordered all businesses with 100 or more employees that they had to get vaccinations or weekly tests as a condition for their employment in 21. But yet they didn't require immigrants at the U.S. border to get vaccinated.
They require all members of the U.S. military to be vaccinated. Plenty were discharged from the military because they wouldn't get the vaccination, but nobody on the border. I think it's interesting that you're starting to see this out of what are reliably democratic institutions like Hollywood and the media, finally starting to question everything that happened during COVID. Jon Stewart's been doing that a lot. You've got, now this, Dana Carvey and David Spade having this conversation and making fun of it. It may go along even with the CBS report we talked about just a little while ago of them pushing back and challenging Hunter Biden. I think there's just too much evidence that we've been lied to for too long for even these reliably left-leaning institutions to pretend that it was all okay.
Well, it's hard to keep selling it when the hypocrisy is so blaring obvious
to
everyone.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. Okay, so we've got a few phone calls that I'd like to get to. 317-684-8444. We normally do our voicemails at 10:30, but and I did get the code to actually get into them.
Oh, you can access them now. Rob gave you the secret launch codes for the voicemail.
Yeah, he gave me the secret sauce, so I was able to get in there and get a few of your messages. And as I mentioned, we're going to call Rob here in just a little bit and talk about his big news from yesterday. But first, we do have some really nice messages from some people, and let's hear from Mark.
Hey, this is Mark from Duluth. I wasn't going to call because I didn't have that great thing to say to Rob, who I am so happy for. It brings me tears of joy, and it's just beautiful because I know he's going to be a great dad. But if I have any say on who should replace Rob for the next couple of weeks while he's gone, I loved having the dude there, and it was kind of really beautiful. So God bless all you guys. I love your show.
That is so sweet.
It was the nicest phone call.
Yeah.
I mean, he was emotional.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
That's great.
Yeah. I'm enjoying having you here as well.
Oh, I'm loving being here. That was a great phone call. What a nice guy.
Yeah. So super fans, my girl, Courtney, and Drake also called, and they have a message as well.
Oh boy, the Kendall and Casey show. It's your boy Drake. How we doing? And also, I got on this phone line. Who we got?
Courtney.
Yeah. That's right. We got Superfan Drake and Superfan Courtney. We want to leave some mad love and respect for Rob, Mrs. Kendall, and little baby Kendall. We've been looking for updates on the Twitter feed to see if you guys are posting updates, see if you guys are okay. But again, we want to send you some massive love and respect. So that's that. Courtney, take it away.
Rob, all the best to you and Mrs. Kendall. Just remember, you're the only one that knows how to parent your child. Casey, we love you too.
We love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
I have no doubt that Rob will have no problem sticking up for his child, no matter what.
And being the only one that parents his child. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. They must have put some planning into that. What did they conference each other's calls in and then call the voicemail?
It's like a party line with Drake and Courtney.
Good for them.
Yeah. Also, we were talking about Ryan Seacrest yesterday and how he has been announced as the replacement for Pat Sajak on Wheel of Fortune. And somebody called and had some thoughts about that.
Prayers for the Kendall family. Prayers that the baby will be fine and the mother will be fine, and just prayers that everything will turn out just perfect. Now, I've been listening to your show, and I just heard you talk about Ryan Seacrest. I was listening to Fox News this morning, and I've got to agree with him that maybe Steve Harvey, Michael Strahan, and Ryan Seacrest ought to give somebody else a break. Somebody else do something once in a while instead of these three guys dominating every single thing that goes on.
He does have a point.
It's Steve Harvey, Michael Strahan, and Ryan Seacrest. That's about 90% of every show out there has one of those three guys out there, it seems like.
And you had mentioned yesterday that you think the next big host of everything most likely will come from YouTube or TikTok. Michael Strahan, wasn't it interesting when he was at the coronation?
He did seem a little out of place. That may have not been the best decision.
Isn't he a former football player?
A Hall of Fame football player with the Giants. I think he still holds the record for the most sacks in one single season. Yeah, Michael Strahan was a Hall of Famer.
And to hear him talking about the coronation of King Charles, I don't know. It
did just come off a little weird and different. But there's a reason why those three guys do everything. I know it looks like what they do is easy.
They land the planes. They keep the trains running on time. They close the deal.
What they do is not easy, and so it's difficult to find somebody that is able to do that and be good at it on a consistent basis, and those three guys are the best in the business.
All right, one more phone call before we get to break and touch base with Rob. Somebody is offering some advice.
Avid listener, follower. Hey, little advice on the baby. You have just entered the fastest 18 years of your life, so don't blink, man, because it goes quick. My daughter's a junior in college already. Have a good day. Congratulations.
He is so right.
What's the saying? The days are long and the years are short.
Yeah. So last night when Rob sent me the picture of the baby, I was tempted to reply with a picture of our baby, who is, a junior in college, just like that
caller said.
Yeah, and I thought it does. He's going to be in such a daze and sleepwalking over the next couple months.
I was in a daze for 2 years, it seems like. I have no idea what happened in 2002 and 2003. It is all just a blur.
Yeah, but then, man, it does. It goes by so quick. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
The Indiana Derby is one of the best days of summer. It's the state's biggest horse racing event with over $1 million in total purse money on the line. This is Racing Rachel inviting you to Horseshoe, Indianapolis, Saturday, July 8th for all the fun. The Indiana Derby has a loaded card with 8 stakes races featuring some of the nation's top 3-year-old thoroughbreds. And off track at Horseshoe, Indianapolis, we've got loads of other Derby entertainment for fans too, like a free cigar rolling station for the first 500 people, a hat contest and free handicapping contest, a $3,000 mega bet drawing, a jockey virtual reality racing experience, merch giveaways, and more. All ages are welcome, plus admission and parking are free. First race is noon, and racing goes rain or shine with plenty of seating both indoors and out. So join us for the Indiana Derby, July 8th at Horseshoe, Indianapolis, just off I-74 in Shelbyville. Come on out and have a day.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A big ruling from the High Court. It's 74 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. The Supreme Court is striking down affirmative action. The High Court had been considering challenges to admissions policies of both the University of North Carolina and Harvard University. The High Court ruled that universities' admissions programs violated the Equal Rights Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. It was in Plainfield. Trooper Aaron Smith was trying to stop a fleeing suspect in a stolen car when he stopped to get out to deploy stop sticks, and he was hit and thrown from the road by the vehicle the suspect was driving Wednesday evening.
The only thing that I can tell you for sure is we have a video of what occurred. That will be part of the criminal case. We're not going to release it.
State Police Superintendent Doug Carter. As for the suspect, prosecutors await the findings of the state police before filing any charges. And believe it or not, some people in the U.S. still can't legally pump their own gas. In Oregon, self-serving gas stations have been prohibited in the state for over 70 years, but the state legislature passed a bill that would allow half of the pumps at stations to be self-service. Oregon's governor now has less than 30 days to sign the bill into law. I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Indianapolis area attorneys. 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1250, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
Faith Prep Academy of Indiana helps children unlock their purpose and explore their passion in a supportive faith-based environment. Faith Prep is a flexible online private school that enables students to reach academic excellence, develop Christian character, and discover their gifts and talents. Now enrolling grades K through 12. 96% of Indiana residents qualify for significant financial aid through the Indiana Choice Scholarship. Learn more at k12.com/faith-in. Faith Prep Academy of Indiana. Learning with purpose.
If you're a Medicaid member, you should know guaranteed coverage is coming to an end. Keep an eye on your mailbox for important information from Medicaid. When you receive it, go online and enter your updated information to maintain your coverage or to find other coverage if you're no longer eligible for Medicaid. Keep your health and keep your coverage. Learn more at fssabenefits.in.gov.
If your leaky chimney is at it again, there's only one place to call. That's Chimney Solutions. Chimney Solutions has over 20 years of experience inspecting, sweeping, and troubleshooting chimney systems. From repairing your masonry to waterproofing to chimney caps, they handle it all with craftsmanship guarantees. The Chimney Solutions team is Chimney Safety Institute of America certified and members of the National Chimney Sweep Guild. Call Chimney Solutions today at 317-757-6979. Online at chimneyindy.com. That's Chimney Solutions.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
It is 10:33. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Of course, Rob has been out for the past couple of days. Jim Roberts, the dude, filling in. But let's go to the drivehubler.com hotline. And we speak with Rob Kendall, new father. Congratulations.
Yay! Yes, thank you, Casey. And you found somebody not only more talented, but better looking than me to take my place. So congratulations.
All right. So everybody wants to know, we haven't discussed any of the stats. Like Jim said, it's like you have someone who's being drafted with their weight and their height and the time and the hair amount. Give us all of the details. Start talking, dude.
Well, she took almost 24 hours to get here. In fact, my wife's water broke at about 10:15, and then it was 10:20, and then it was 10:15 the next night that she was delivered. So she made the most of her appearance to get on this earth, but eventually 8 pounds, 4 ounces, and 20.5 inches in length.
Wow, that's a good-sized baby. Very similar.
She earned every inch of it. Yes, she had a good time coming out.
Before we talk more about the baby, Olivia, how is G doing? Is she okay? Everything's good, right?
She's doing much better than she was doing about 12 hours ago. I'll just put it that way. Yeah, that is. Look, I've never felt bad about anything I've ever done in my life, but yesterday may have been the day when I had to look at my wife give labor for 24 hours because that, Casey.
Yeah.
Mother's Day is my new favorite holiday, and no matter what you do for your mother, it is absolutely not enough. If you have experienced birth in person, it is unbelievable, and women just deserve every bit of round of applause they get, and 10 times that, because, wow, that was incredible.
Do you feel bad for any time you were ever mean to me or slighted me and just a little?
Well, I feel bad for anything I've ever done now at this point because, I mean, look, the birthing process is amazing, and I know most of our audience has probably been through it in some shape, form, or fashion, but it's absolutely incredible what women go through, and my wife did a natural child birth, and it was unbelievable to watch, and it's unbelievable to watch your child come into the world. Like, you see them take their first breath, you see them enter the world. It is just an absolutely incredible thing, and my wife is a saint.
Yeah, it's so heartwarming to hear you speak like this. And does it give you a new perspective on anything? I mean, it sounds like you've already been impacted.
Well, I love that Casey's like, it's so nice to see you be a decent human being for once, Rob. It's so great. No, yes, absolutely. Because I was joking with the doctor that delivered Olivia. My wife did not find it funny that I was cracking jokes in the delivery room. But I said, in the movies, it's like 2 pushes and the baby's out.
Yeah.
And in reality, it is like anything but that for most people. And yesterday was an amazing example of how important great people in the medical field are. My wife went through some complications, not anything that threatened the health of the baby, but it was just a slower delivery. And the people at Hendricks Regional Health were awesome. Tori, our doula, was incredible. And it really, not that I needed new appreciation for great medical professionals, but man, we're lucky to live in this country and have people who are capable of getting through some hard things.
Yeah. I'm curious, how often have you thought about Eric Holcomb in the past 24 hours?
Zero. None. Not until you just mentioned it. Thanks for ruining my day, Casey. That's wonderful. Great.
Nice reprieve there. Okay, so ever since you originally told me that you guys were going to have a baby, I just kept saying, oh, she's going to have a lot of hair, a lot of brown hair. So you sent a picture. She got a little hat on, so we really couldn't see. Tell us, what does she look like?
The first thing the doctor says, so obviously the doctor can see the baby before you can. They've got a mirror up where the wife, the mother, and the father can see, the baby being born. And the doctor obviously sees it first. And the first thing she said is, oh my gosh, look at all that hair. And I'm thinking to myself in the delivery room, holy smokes, Casey was right.
Really?
Nailed it.
A lot of brown hair?
Oh, tons.
Really?
Which is exactly the same way that I was and my wife was. So the gene pool lives on. It's definitely my kid.
Now, Rob, did either of you get any sleep last night? I'm hoping you did, because you were up for 24 hours. So what's the current rest situation?
Well, I told my wife, they move you from your room where you birthed the baby into a different room. And, I told her very quickly, I said, it's really important for the baby to bond with the mother first. So I'm going to take a little nap, and you guys get to know each other, and then you wake me up when you're done.
And did they bond like you were saying?
That went for about 30 minutes, and then she told me, it's really important for the baby to bond with the father, so I'm going to let you guys bond for a few minutes and wake me up when you're done. And that went back and forth throughout the entire night.
Yeah. I can remember that, how exhausted I was afterwards. And, hey, while you're in the hospital, rely on that staff, because once you get home, they're not coming with you.
It's absolutely amazing. And again, I know there's many great medical professionals throughout central Indiana. We happen to be at Hendricks Regional Health, and how great they were at a variety of different issues that arose throughout the process. Again, the baby's life or health was never in danger. But as you know, Casey, and Jim, it's a process, and everybody's process is different to bring a baby into the world. And they were so great at helping my wife through that process. It was unbelievable.
Now, when you had first texted me, not last night, but the night before, that her water had broke, and I said to you, eat now, because you're not going to have a chance later. Did you heed my advice?
I did, but it's like there's so much adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
And so she did not actually go to the hospital for about 8 hours or so until after her water broke. So I really could have eaten like a 5-course meal. If I'd had it to do over again, I probably would have. But man, you're just running on pure adrenaline at that point. And it's I know I keep using the same phrase and it's like a broken record, but it's just such an incredible experience, and it changes your whole view on life and everything when you see that play out in real time in front of you.
Yeah. Well, you, especially with G, I mean, she knew there was a baby in there and you can see her belly growing, but it almost doesn't really hit home until the baby is born and you actually see the baby and hold the baby and feel like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing experience ever, that you made a person and brought a new life into the world.
And I don't know for you guys with your daughter, I don't know if you noticed this, but it's like, so my baby has the same nose that I have and the same nose that my father had and the same nose my grandfather had. And it's amazing to look at someone and you actually see that thing. Like, it's like I passed that thing down to them and you actually see yourself in the flesh of your child. I mean, that's an absolutely incredible experience.
And you know what, Rob? That's something that continues throughout their whole life, especially when they start adopting your mannerisms and your attitudes towards certain things. It's something that keeps on going for years and years to come.
Yep.
Here's the most crazy thing about this. So Casey and I talked about this a lot, that I've been keeping this journal for my daughter throughout the lead up to her pregnancy, to her birth. And on the 27th, the journal ended. I ran out of space. And I had joked with my wife. I said, well, if she's born tomorrow, we're going to have to start the new journal, because my wife bought me another one. And I'll be darned, the first entry in the new journal is, hey, you were born today. Congratulations. Aww. That is just,
yeah.
I mean,
the timing.
There's no way that's a coincidence, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we are so happy for you. Congratulations. We're all very thankful that everything went smooth and everybody's okay, and 10 fingers and 10 toes. And I can't wait. I'm going to be a radio aunt, or I am a radio aunt. I can't wait to meet Olivia Thatcher Kendall. It's going to be amazing.
You guys have been so awesome, and I want to thank everybody who prayed for us. I want to thank all of our listeners. I want to thank everybody who wished us well. You guys are awesome. We love you. Casey, Jim, you guys are awesome and have been such good friends. And, man, we just can't thank you enough. And I love everyone. Thank you so much. I'm a dad, Casey. I'm a dad.
You're a dad, Rob Kendall. Amazing.
Go hug your girls.
Yeah. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show coming up later today, 3 o'clock. Charlie Arnold, previously of ESPN, now with Outkick and Fox News, our special guest. All the fun starts at 3, 93 WIBC.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. They're threatening to close your business. If debt has your business on the brink, call Ray Reynolds, the godfather of credit. For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped thousands of customers get millions in cash credit. It's no wonder why they call Ray the godfather of credit. He may even be able to raise your score above 750 before the end of the year. You could even get a new personal or business credit line up to $50,000 within days. If your credit needs a rebuild, call Ray Reynolds and receive a $1,000 cash credit card at closing. Raise your credit score to 750 or more. Call Ray Reynolds at 800-437-8110. 800-437-8110. Learn about Ray's secrets to success and how he can fix and improve your credit score to 750 or more. Call the godfather of credit rebuild, Ray Reynolds, at 800-437-8110. 800-437-8110.
Don't let earache from swimmer's ear, clogged ears, or allergies ruin your day. Get fast, effective relief from the pain and itching with Hyland's Earache Drops, the #1 best-selling earache treatment for over 10 years. See why it's received thousands of 5-star reviews and was awarded Best Over-the-Counter Medicine and Health Product in Earache Relief by U.S. News and World Report. Find Hyland's Earache Drops in the eye and ear aisle at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Claims based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, it's our Dare to Compare sale. We guarantee none of our competitors will beat us on any price on items that are apples to apples. That's Berlin Gardens, Lazy Boy, Pollywood, Tempur-Pedic, Smith Brothers of Bern, anything in our store. If you do, we'll beat the price and still deliver it for free. Now through Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
A cancer diagnosis can come as a sudden, unexpected shock. At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, you'll talk to an expert within 48 hours, so you can start finding the answers you need.
So me being able to see Dr. Moore so quickly, I think that helped give my mind a little bit more peace.
Your circle of support just got stronger. Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and stop smoking without cravings or your money back. Early bird special only $49.99. Stop smoking once and for all. Also, lose all the weight and let Mark Patrick Hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars Thursday, July 20th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar at 8. Or Saturday, July 22nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, Johnson County's American Standard independent heating and air conditioning dealer, invites you to celebrate America's birthday with them and have a shot at winning a Yeti cooler. Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling will be at the Franklin Firecracker Festival Monday evening, July the 3rd, by the stage with giveaways and a chance to win a new Yeti cooler. See you at Youngs Creek Park in Franklin. And with the hot weather, if you need AC service, visit callthemarshallnow.com. Marshall is your American Standard air dealer.
By listening to WIBC, you'll learn how to create a secure income plan that is sustainable throughout retirement from Crown Haven Wealth Advisors. Tune into WIBC this Sunday from 9 to 10 p.m.
Hey, we're pretty social people at WIBC. You can find us all over social media. See what we're up to on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're never more than just away. Just search for 93 WIBC.
I was once out strolling one very hot
1047, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Of course, we just heard from Rob Kendall, and he is out today with his
Why
new
isn't
baby.
he back to work yet,
Yeah,
Casey?
right? Get back to
Why
work.
isn't old Rob Buttigieg back to work already? She popped the shorty out yesterday. What's he doing, breastfeeding? You tell Rob to get his ass back in here to work. Right. Tell Rob Buttigieg the honeymoon's over, pal.
I'll let him know.
Get ready, pal. You're going to in for a problem.
In his place is the dude, Jim Roberts, who's been hanging out with me all day today. The dude abides. And obviously, Hammer in the studio from the #1 show in Indianapolis, Hammer and Nigel Afternoon. So, big day, local news. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I want to get through some of it with you.
Yeah, and it's not all fun at all.
Actually, none of it, actually.
And honestly, if I could just be serious for a moment, sure. This is why I think radio stations like this, WIBC, are so important, right? Because this is a big local news day. We've got so many things happening in Central Indy, and we are your home for all of it on the radio. Mm-hmm. Like, even on television, these folks will take a break and they'll show, fun programming and whatnot. But here, this is what we do, live local radio. And I'm incredibly proud of the people that work at this station. And this afternoon from 3 to 7, we've got a lot of things lined up. And first and foremost, hearts, prayers, all of that stuff going out to the family of Indiana State Police Trooper Aaron Smith, 33 years old, lost his life last night. It should never have happened because this is a guy that was doing everything right. He's, working with the police department. There's always going to be a risk with that. Yeah. But there was a high-speed police chase. Somebody had stolen a car around the Ameriplex area on the southwest side. Ends up on a police chase going through Plainfield. He was trying to put those stop sticks out that, if you've ever watched any police show, flattens the tires.
Right,
and
when you
eliminates.
drive over it.
And this scumbag driving the car hit him, and he lost his life last night. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And again, it's never easy. That's part of the job. But man, just what a piece of crap to run over this guy like that. And if I'm Governor Holcomb, I know that I'm a lame duck, right? I'm not running for any political office coming up. I'm term limited out for the time being for the governor's race. If you want to do something on your way out, bring back executing some of these guys that kill cops. Because I know for a fact there's a couple guys on Indiana death row that have completely exhausted the appeals process. They're out of appeals. Benjamin Ritchie being one of them. He killed a cop in my hometown of Beech Grove, Indiana. Let's bring the death penalty back. Let people know if you kill a cop in the state of Indiana, you will meet your maker. Now, the excuse they give is, well, the company that makes the lethal injection stuff, they don't want it used for killing people, blah, blah, blah. Other states have been able to figure things out. They've had other ways of getting rid of some of these scumbags. So Governor Holcomb, if you want to make up a little bit for all the things that you've done wrong, whether it's COVID, meeting with Malik Muhammad, doing all that kind of stuff, calling people who wanted to open up their business a petri dish, bring back a way to get rid of cop killers in Indiana.
This is something that actually might serve Hoosiers well.
Yes. And listen, I know not everybody's in favor of the death penalty, but there needs to be a lesson. If you come to Indiana and you kill a cop, once your appeals process has ran its course, you will be executed in the state of Indiana.
So this Indiana State Trooper, Aaron Smith, he's being called one of the best. He was one of those guys that stood out. We all know people like that. He's going to be remembered. And Superintendent Doug Carter even said, not to be cliche, but he was a shining star for the state police. And what a loss for all of us here in the Hoosier State.
And I watched that press conference last night, and I like Doug Carter as a person. We have disagreed on things in the past, especially when it comes to like the Delphi story.
Yeah.
And we've had that conversation face to face. He's always been man enough to come in here and we've talked it out. I felt so bad for him last night. He did such a great job under those circumstances at that press conference. He's trying not to cry, but he also has to be the face of the Indiana State Police. So again, my heart hurts for the entire police community, this trooper's family.
He was so young, too.
33 years old, had a young wife.
Yep.
And we're going to be getting into the weeds of that coming up a little bit later on this afternoon. Prior to that heartbreaking story last night, we were ready to spit fire this afternoon because the Broad Ripple Village Association, they've decided, well,
got to close down at 1 o'clock.
The problem in Broad Ripple is that business owners are staying open too late. Now let that sink in for just a moment. It's not the lunatics that are out on the streets, the repeat offenders that are out there causing problems, or in many cases, the folks too young to get into these bars in the first place, people who can't legally own a gun in the first place because of their rap sheet. It's the business owners who are trying to make a living. I texted a friend of mine last night who owns a prominent business in Broad Ripple. It's a bar. And they said between 1 to 3 is our busiest time. That's when we make our money. Quote, I don't know what we're going to do now.
Okay, so Indiana law says that restaurants and bars that serve alcohol can stay open until 3 a.m. So how does this Broad Ripple group, this association, how do they have the authority to say you got to shut down at 1?
Because all decisions basically go to your local leader, right? Governor Holcomb, let's just use an example here. Governor Holcomb could have said, hey, we've got the National Guard ready to stop all the rioters, but it's up to the local mayors and the local legislators to say, this is something that we want. Broad Ripple is super liberal. They make Indianapolis look like the conservatives. Like Broad Ripple is led by the crazy kind of people that would be at these parades where grown men are showing their junk to children.
Yeah.
That's who runs Broad Ripple. But unfortunately, that's not who the business owners are in Broad Ripple.
Right.
So they've kind of got to play ball by these ridiculous rules, and they're getting a finger wagging from the Broad Ripple Village Association, basically being made the scapegoat because Boss Hogsett and Ryan Mears can't get control of their city.
Well, that's it exactly. I mean, it's, as you said, Boss Hogsett, Joe Hogsett, and also Ryan Mears, making the businesses shut down early, and it's because of their poor leadership and bad prosecution.
Right. All you have to do to make Indianapolis safer, and I've told this a million times and I'll say it again, we talked about it a lot the other day, it's really not that hard. You go easier on victimless crime perpetrators and you go harder on violent repeat offenders.
Yeah.
Violent repeat offenders need to be locked up. If you speak to some of these prosecutors in the surrounding counties, we spoke to the Johnson County guy, Garrison up in Hamilton County. You do not want to be a violent repeat offender in those counties. Here in Indianapolis, they'll slap an ankle monitor on you. We have more ankle monitors in Indianapolis than any other city in America. And that's not per capita. That is pure numbers. There are more ankle monitors on people in Indianapolis than Los Angeles, New York City, Chicago, pure numbers.
Well, clearly they're not working.
Right. You know exactly where they are when they're committing their next crime.
Exactly. Okay, I see you over there. Okay, before we let you get out of here, I want to touch base on what's going on with the Delphi murder, Richard Allen, because that judge released 100 documents.
So hat tip to our friends at the Murder Sheet podcast, because they were the ones that filed all the paperwork and requested the judge to release this information.
And you've had them on your show before.
They joined us yesterday,
okay.
actually.
Yep.
And we found out officially that the cause of death of these young ladies, Abby and Libby in Delphi, was a stabbing.
Yeah.
And that was the big headline. But also coming out of these documents, and we'll talk more about this afternoon, a lot more information about the search warrant, because a lot of people thought it was just the shell casing of the unspent round that led to the search of Richard Allen's house. And a lot of people had questions about that, and rightfully so. But it sounds like there's a lot more to that. There were folks that said they know he's got that outfit on from that iconic silhouette of him walking.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more to it. So we're going to get into the weeds about that this afternoon.
All right. Thank you so much, Hammer. You're awesome. You're amazing. And we appreciate everything that you do for our community. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Take that girl.
Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Income may be subject to state, local, or federal alternative minimum tax.
The stock market dropped by over.
The Federal
Reserve raised interest rates.
Let's face it, investing can feel pretty scary and overwhelming these days, especially if you're retired or close to retirement, which is why you should consider investing in municipal bonds from Hennian & Walsh. Municipal bonds can provide a source of federally tax-free retirement income. Plus, an investment in municipal bonds is an investment in America. Municipal bonds help finance major civil projects across the country, like the Golden Gate Bridge and Hoover Dam, as well as local roads, bridges, and schools. Call 1-800-761-9761 right now for our informative free bond guide and learn how you can earn tax-free retirement income while investing in America's future. Just dial 1-800-761-9761 for the free Hennian & Walsh bond guide. There's no cost and no obligation. 1-800-761-9761.
Hennian & Walsh Inc., member of FINRA and SIPC.
Hey, it's Casey. Have you noticed the concrete around your house? I'm talking about maybe in the garage, the pool deck, the driveway, even the porch or patio, looking a little gray and dull. Do you know that Galaxy concrete coating can make it so much better? They'll lay down this coating 4 times stronger than epoxy, dries really fast, has a strong hold, the color's not going to fade, and it's easy to clean. Oh, and by the way, it looks great too. Call them in Fishers, 317-751-9070. Get yourself a free quote. By the way, Galaxy concrete coating, not as expensive as you might think. They're online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com. They're taking concrete out of this world.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa.
Receive 40% off all products, plus special manufacturer rebates and up to 20 months, no interest, no payments. Just go to bwindow.com. We'll take care of the rest.
Coming up in 2 minutes, there may be some severe weather to deal with this afternoon, plus where a state trooper was killed Wednesday, and the Hoosier Transportation Secretary talks about flight cancellations all over the country. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. A Supreme Court ruling that's a big deal on college campuses. I'm Dave Anthony. It strikes down affirmative action as a factor when considering student applications.
Both Harvard and the University of North Carolina are in violation of the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause by using race in admissions decisions. A 6-3 ruling authored by Chief Justice John Roberts strikes down higher education affirmative action policies, writing the court has permitted race-based admission only within narrow confines that never use race as a stereotype or a negative, and at some point must end.
Fox's Jared Halpern. In the dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor said the court has cemented a superficial rule of colorblindness, undoing decades of momentous progress. Hunter Biden's facing questions this morning under oath in court in Delaware in a deposition in the lawsuit filed by computer repair shop owner John Paul MacIsaac, who accuses the president's son of defaming him by denying the laptop he dropped off at the shop then never picked up.
That laptop was eventually turned in to the FBI. MacIsaac's legal team claims Biden told his lawyers to seek a criminal investigation against him as payback, and the attacks have led to damages such as loss of business.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. President Biden is at 64% among Democrats in a new Fox News 2024 poll. Former President Trump's way ahead in the Republican race despite his recent indictments at 56%. Ron DeSantis, 34 points back, the rest in single digits. Mike Pence at just 4%. The former vice president is visiting Ukraine today. As the European Union summit focuses on Russia's war, NATO's leader Jens Stoltenberg says,
"At the summit, I expect new announcements of military support."
The anger is simmering across France. That's one of the protests over the deadly police shooting of a 17-year-old. Protesters have injured 170 officers, vandalized or set fire dozens of buildings and cars. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A busy day for weather. It's cloudy and 75 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. On top of the smoky skies, there is a threat for severe weather across Indiana for today. John Herrick reports.
The main things to watch out for are damaging winds, hail, and flooding. Wish TV meteorologist Tara Hastings says the possibilities for tornadoes are small.
But we still have the potential for some tornadoes to pop up, especially south and west of Indianapolis. So make sure that you are staying weather aware later tonight. Best time frame here, late afternoon throughout the early evening hours.
She says there will also be quite a bit of heat and humidity with a chance for rain and storms again this weekend. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A state trooper killed on the job Wednesday evening. Trooper Aaron Smith was hit while standing on a road deploying stop sticks while trying to stop a suspect in a stolen vehicle. That suspect collided with Smith.
This young trooper is one of the best of us. He'd been on the department about 5 years. But he didn't survive tonight.
ISP Superintendent Doug Carter. Charges likely to be filed against the suspect once state police finish their investigation. A woman shot to death in Fishers Wednesday afternoon. It was at a gas station along 116th near Allisonville Road. Police believe the shooter knew the woman and targeted her. They're looking for that shooter now. Some airports and airlines delayed or canceled flights due to the smoke from the Canadian wildfires, and that includes some major airports in Indiana. The Transportation Department will help out where needed or hold airlines accountable if necessary, says Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
We know that nobody can control the weather, but anything under our control at the FAA, we're going to be working on, and anything under the airline's control, they need to step up and take responsibility.
The former South Bend mayor says his own flight was canceled Wednesday. A suspension is likely coming for Colts defensive back Isaiah Rodgers. He was caught having placed bets on NFL games last season. Some of those bets involved Colts games, according to ESPN. Though Rodgers is likely to be suspended for the whole upcoming season. I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-864-9559. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-864-9559. 800-864-9559. That's 800-864-9559.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, June 29th. It is 5 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob Kendall is out today enjoying time with his new growing family as Olivia Thatcher Kendall was born last night. In his place, we've got Jim Roberts who's joining us. The dude is in the studio. And we begin with some news that just came out this morning, and that is about what the Supreme Court has decided. They set new limits on affirmative action programs in cases involving whether public and private colleges and universities can continue to use race as one of the factors for admissions. Now, the court, they held the opinion came down 6-3, and Chief Justice John Roberts, he actually went with the conservative.
Yeah, he's really been the swing vote the last several years on this sort of thing, so it's interesting that he sided with the conservatives on this one.
So Students for Fair Admissions, which is a conservative group, they sued Harvard University and the University of North Carolina over their race admissions program. And they alleged that intentional discrimination was being held towards applicants. And the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of the group in the decision. And this is going to have major ramifications for college admissions processes across the entire country now.
Yeah, so it's important to know this is a fairly narrow ruling that just applies to college admission. So any other affirmative action programs that exist in other institutions are not really affected by this decision at all.
Okay, so universities now, they're going to have to look at the student, not the race. Look at their grades and what they do out in the community and use that as the determining factor.
And all the data and all the polls up until this point have shown that the vast majority of the population agrees that ending race-based admissions should be something that should be done. Even the majority of Democrats agree that race-based admissions to colleges is something that should be done away with, which is what happened in the Supreme Court ruling today. So you're going to see a lot of liberals losing their mind on Twitter and in the media over the next couple of days about this, but it's going to be by the data showing it's going to be a very popular opinion amongst the populace in whole.
Yeah, it is 7 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. That's Jim Roberts filling in for Rob today. So President Biden, he has termed a new phrase. Actually, he hasn't. He has adopted it. The phrase was created by the Wall Street Journal, and he decided, I guess it's pretty good. And the phrase is Bidenomics. I want to say Bidenomics, but that's not it. It's Bidenomics. It's when you mush a couple of words together, right? He's embracing it. He went to, where was he? He was in Chicago, and he was trying to give this major economic speech. His top advisor saying this is a strategic decision to own the economy. Here's a guy who's saying he's going to own the economy. Why in the hell would you want to own today's economy?
Yeah, who in the Biden administration thought this was a good idea? There's really no information out there that the public views the current economy positively. In fact, just the opposite. Real Clear Politics just released a poll right before this came out saying that 61% of Americans feel the economy is headed in the wrong direction. And that includes 55% of Democrats that don't agree with Biden's economic policy. So you can't say that this is, something that was, he was doing to galvanize his base and bring his base together, because Democrats don't think the economy's in the right shape. This almost seems like this came up with somebody who wants Biden to lose. Did RFK Jr. bring this idea to them? Say, hey, you know what you should do? You should call it Bidenomics. That's a real good idea.
Well, what's interesting about that is just last night, RFK Jr. came out and he said that he would not commit to supporting President Biden if he beat him in the primary. And we've got a couple more of those we're going to share with you as well. But this is happening more and more. People saying, I'm not going to support him if he's going to be the nominee. If he's going to be the incumbent, I'm not on board with this. Well, he's also polling at 20%.
Not bad for somebody who's challenging a sitting president. Very rare to have a serious challenge, and RFK Jr. is at least putting forth some decent numbers so far.
Okay, so Ron DeSantis weighs in, and he has an understanding of what Bidenomics are. However, they're much different than what Joe Biden thinks they are.
Well, I can tell you what Bidenomics is, Martha. It is everybody pays more for basic staples of life. People are paying way more for groceries. They're paying way more for other necessities like utilities. The cost of buying a new home has gone up dramatically because all the materials have gone up. And so in Florida, we're responsible for a lot of these jobs because we've defied his policies. We had our state open. We have low taxes. We have a very strong regulatory climate favorable for businesses. And so you've seen us grow. You've seen other red states grow. Most of those jobs he's talking about are jobs that came back after the COVID lockdowns. They weren't necessarily over and above what a normal economy would do. And he is wrong on energy. His vision to not have domestic energy production is going to lead to the average family paying more for energy. It is going to make them poorer. And if you think about, he's talking about global warming, all this stuff. China builds a new coal-fired plant like every week. What is the administration doing and their allies in state and local governments? They're trying to stop coal-fired pizza shops from being able to operate in New York City. So I think they have all this backwards, and I think at the end of the day, the average working person knows it's harder to make ends meet under Joe Biden as president.
Everybody knows that.
Biden just handed his opponents a gift, because now anytime between now and the election, there's any sort of negative economic information.
You say,
Bidenomics.
Bidenomics.
Inflation's up. That's Bidenomics. Unemployment ticks up. Bidenomics.
Yeah.
Housing and cost of living out of control. That's your Bidenomics right there.
Yeah, rent goes up, Bidenomics. And Ron DeSantis mentioned something about energy and utilities, and I recently got an email, and I have to check into it more, but I think AES may be raising their rates.
They are,
again.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
they are. You know that. You saw it too.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to take a deep dive into that. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. That is Jim Roberts filling in for Rob Kendall today. Now, I had mentioned just moments ago that RFK Jr. says that he won't commit to supporting President Biden if he is the incumbent. And that's not only happening on the Democrat side, it's also happening on the Republican side. Chris Christie has, his favorite guy to pick on is Donald Trump. He says that Trump is backwards looking, not an appearance, but just how he's reliving the past elections. He's not looking forward. He also says that his drama, Trump's drama, has led to Republicans losing. He's not completely wrong. Republicans aren't winning the way we should be, the way we had thought it was going to happen, especially, you heard red wave, red tsunami, which really never came to fruition. But Chris Christie, now he's saying he's not going to support Trump if he wins the nominee.
And Donald Trump needs to work for this nomination.
If he becomes the nominee, do y'all become friends again? Does he offer you a cabinet post again? Do y'all clean this up if he becomes the nominee?
I don't think so. I think some of the stuff he's called me over the last few months, I don't think that's going to happen, and that's sad, but it is the truth of the matter. And it's his doing.
But you're not closing the door to voting for him.
I'm saying I can't support him.
You won't vote for him.
I can't support either one of them.
Okay.
Not Biden or Trump, because they're not competent and qualified to be president for different reasons. Joe Biden predominantly because of his age and what we've seen on TV.
Okay, he says Joe Biden because of his age. They're not that far off in age.
No, there's a lot more than Joe Biden's age, to have out there to not vote for him, and there's a lot more for Donald Trump's age, beyond Donald Trump's age, to not vote for him. It seems like that's one of the pretty far down on the list of reasons why I'm not going to vote for one of these guys.
Yeah, but he says flat out he's not going to support him. He described Donald Trump as the cheapest person I've ever met in my life. And this coming amid allegations that Donald Trump is using campaign donations to cover legal fees. That's what he said on CNN the other night. But Tucker Carlson, he's got his prediction about who would replace Joe Biden as de facto 2024 Democrat presidential nominee. And no, it is not Kamala Harris. And no, it is not RFK Jr. And no, it's not Pete Buttigieg even.
Michelle Obama.
No. Let's find out who he thinks it is.
In real life, nobody likes Kamala Harris. That's not an attack on her. In fact, it's possible to feel pity for someone who's so universally reviled. It is instead an observation of unchanging physical reality like gravity or photosynthesis. Nobody wants Kamala Harris to be president. No one will benefit if she becomes president. So logic suggests there's going to be a change. It's going to have to be somebody else. And whoever that person is going to have to enter the race soon, before the election, after Biden drops out. Who could that person be? We don't know, obviously. This is all just guessing. But we do know whoever that is will have to have two essential criteria. He'll have to be as shallow, ruthless, and transactional as Joe Biden is, and he'll need to have flattery skills that are so polished and advanced they'd be considered superior even in the Saudi royal court. And there's only one man in modern America who fits that description: Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, and perhaps not coincidentally, Joe Biden's new closest friend.
There you go. That's his prediction.
Well, almost anybody at this point is going to be a better candidate than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So, I'm not going to sit here and tout the benefits of Gavin Newsom, but he's right. Gavin is a very polished politician, something that Joe Biden is not right now. And he certainly has the support of the Democrat base, something that Joe Biden does not have right now.
Yeah, but then you have to look towards California and say, yeah, you may look the part, but again, it's the execution.
Wouldn't that be a fun race to see DeSantis versus Newsom in 2024? Because you've got these two coastal states, California, which is in decline, and Florida, which is on the rise, and the debate that could happen about the ideas and how each state has been led to that point that they're in right now. That would be certainly entertaining to watch.
Well, and I think that's why those two are throwing barbs at each other, because they think that the Trump-Biden thing's just not going to happen, and eventually it will be DeSantis and Biden. We'll see. 17 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and it was just announced that Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary, she is going to travel to China to, quote, reestablish contact. Okay, so there's been a lot going on, obviously, with that mutiny that happened over the weekend in Russia. China reassuring that they're backing Russia. China voicing their support for Russia, and a lot of geopolitical developments going on. And I thought it would be interesting to get someone's take on things who's just a little bit more informed on what's going on in China than me. So we have found somebody, and I will preface this by saying there is a small language barrier. You have to really open your ears, but this guy, he's got some interesting things to say. His name is Anand Su, and while we did have a longer conversation, we cut out just the good parts, the easier parts to understand, and that is coming up next from 93 WIBC.
As the temperatures get higher,
will get up to 105.
So do the number of presidential candidates.
Additional presidential candidates.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
I intend to seek the Republican nomination.
Former Vice President Pence.
I'm announcing I'm running for President of the United States.
All the cool kids are running this year.
Announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
How that could possibly happen.
What happens next?
We'll see what happens.
Happens here. 93 WIBC.
The share it with a friend deal. Even if that friend is yourself. Your McDonald's, your rules.
Treat yourself to tasty deals. Enjoy delicious bundles for $3.29. Try a crispy McChicken with small fries, savory McDouble with small fries, or golden 6-piece McNuggets with small fries. Find your favorite bundle today. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Are you working way too hard for way too little? There's never been a better time to consider a career in IT. You could enjoy a recession-resistant career in a rewarding field with plenty of growth opportunities and often flexible work environments. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new career in months, not years. Take classes online or on campus, and financial aid is available to qualified students, including the GI Bill. Now is the time. mycomputercareer.edu.
At SimpliSafe, your safety is the only thing that matters. Introducing 24/7 Lifeguard Protection, only from SimpliSafe Home Security. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Receive 40% off all products, plus special manufacturer rebates and up to 20 months, no interest, no payments. Just go to bwindow.com. We'll take care of the rest.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Lighten up, Francis.
And Casey Daniels.
I want to party with you, cowboy. The two of us together? Forget it.
On 93 WIBC.
WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey show, and Jim is in for Rob Kendall today, who is out on paternity leave. But let's talk about what's going on with China and Russia. You know, following that attempted mutiny over the weekend, China has reassured that they are continuing to back Russia, and they voiced their support for the country. And I want to take a dive into the latest geopolitical developments in that possible civil war and the relationship that Russia has with China. And for that, we have to go to an expert because that is not either one of us.
Clearly.
And on the line with us, we have Nan Su, who is a senior investigative reporter. He's got an eye with a focus on Chinese politics and government deception. Nan is highly knowledgeable in a lot of subjects, including everything that is happening overseas. Nan, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Hi, Casey. Thank you for having me today.
I'd like for you to start off by talking about the relationship between Putin and Xi Jinping of China.
Xi Jinping, he is, Putin visited China like February the 4th, 2022, exactly 20 days prior to Russia's invasion to Ukraine. Now, and then Xi Jinping and Putin made a public announcement, China, Russia, it's going to moving forward with the collaboration without limit, that kind of collaboration without limit, that kind of relationship. That's how China has been doing with Russia in the entire last year of invasion, last 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, while Putin is on the severe economic sanction by the Western world, China-Russia's bilateral trade increased more than 30%, from 140 billion to 190 billion. And it's expected this year, increase another 30% again. So China purchased mostly oil and gas from Putin, and that's how Putin paid for his war. And also China gave Putin like drones, semiconductors, and China gave a lot of parts, besides give the drones to Putin. China also gave a lot of parts to Iran, and Iran assembled those parts together, make drones, and then ship those things to Russia. You can see the kind of like China, Russia, Iran, the new continental power that's really anti-U.S. continental power that's quickly rising, on the Eurasian continent, and other countries quickly joining, and like Belarus, North Korea, Pakistan, Afghanistan. So you really see, those countries, they're coming together. China is taking the lead.
Yeah, Nan Su joins us. So it sounds like to me that you're saying that the sanctions that have been placed on Russia are only strengthening the bond between Russia and China and these other surrounding countries.
Yes, it definitely make Russia a lot more dependent to China's support.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they're coming together. Xi Jinping is really taking the lead. But however, yes, think about this: if Russia is in a civil war, and this entire continental power, it's facing the kind of like a threat. Russia all of a sudden become a lot weaker. So who is going to be responsible? I mean, it's going to be huge negative impact to Chairman Xi's leadership inside the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, and also the Chinese Communist Party is going to get like a negative impact to their leadership, to to China.
Nan Su joins us. There's been a lot of talk here in the United States. People are posting their thoughts on social media a lot that they believe that China and the United States could possibly go to war by 2025. I'm curious, do you think that will happen, especially if China is backing Russia?
Of course. While Russia is pushing, expanding, pushing towards the west, China is pushing towards the east and south. They're having each other's back. Now, we are far away from Asia. We don't feel how people living there feel. Like just let's switch the position. Let's take a look at what the allies of the United States in the region. I mean, they're at the doorstep of China. Look what they're doing, in order to understand how they're feeling. Taiwan's defense budget increased from last year to this year. 1 year jump, 13.9%. That's like a close to 14% jump a single year. Now, if you think a single year jump of defense budget is a lot, now look at Japan. Japan last year to this year, single year jump defense budget, 26.3%, and then that's the very first jump of continuously 5-year jump. Now, when the legislation was passed December of last year, a lot of people say, well, in the next 5 years, that total increase of the defense budget is going to be 100%. But, I just read another report from Brookings. They say, well, may not be 100%. It may be like somewhere between 65 to 100. There are some flexibilities there. But still, 5 year of increase to 65 to 100% of defense budget.
That's a big jump. Yeah, that is a big jump. Nan Su, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell everybody where they can learn more about you if they're so interested?
Yeah. Just go to the Epoch Times, type the whole three words together. The Epoch Times, EPOCH, EPOCH, theepochtimes.com. That they're going to see all our publications.
All right. Well, thank you, Nan, for joining us. We appreciate it. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
All right, Hammer, I'm sick and tired of eating out at the same old places. That's why I go to Jay's Lobster and Fish Market. It's right there in the Garage Food Hall, Bottleworks District. I could eat the lobster mac and cheese every day, 3 meals a day for a year.
It's so good. And you know what else is good there? Palavano Cubano.
Oh, are you kidding me?
The best Cuban food in Indy. And the atmosphere is amazing. You walk through the Garage Food Hall, it's like you're going through Vegas. So whether you're getting a little lobster mac and cheese or a Cuban sandwich, tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
At Indiana University, we're building on more than a century of innovation in Indianapolis to create the nation's premier urban research university. We're preparing more STEM leaders to fuel our economy, graduating more medical professionals to improve Hoosier health, changing the world with more groundbreaking discoveries, and creating a brighter future for everyone. It's all happening right here at Indiana University, Indianapolis. Visit vision.iu.edu to learn more.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. on the go.
A blow to affirmative action. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. The Supreme Court ruling that colleges cannot use race when it comes to admitting new students. Fox's Jared Halpern.
Both Harvard and the University of North Carolina are in violation of the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause by using race in admissions decisions. A 6-3 ruling authored by Chief Justice John Roberts strikes down higher education affirmative action policies. The court's 3 liberal justices, Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, dissented at the White House. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
And a retirement gig for Indy 500 winner Tony Kanaan. He'll be joining Arrow McLaren as the team's new special advisor. He'll be helping the team prepare cars and coach the team's drivers. He raced for Arrow McLaren in his final Indy car race this past May in the Indy 500. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's the season for swimsuits, barbecues, and of course, fireworks. Doctors with the Richard M. Fairbanks Burn Center at Eskenazi Health encourage everyone to celebrate safely this July 4th holiday. Over the past several years, there's been an increase in the number of people injured during the July 4th holiday season. The Richard M. Fairbanks Burn Center at Eskenazi Health wants to remind you of these important fireworks safety tips. First, never point, shoot, or throw fireworks at another person. Next, never hold a firework in your hand or place any part of your body directly over a fireworks device when lighting. Finally, remember that fireworks can be dangerous, even for responsible adults. Never allow young children to play with or ignite fireworks. Always make sure kids are at a safe distance from any fireworks being used. For more information, go to eskenazihealth.edu. Click on Health Services, then Burn Center. Have a safe and wonderful July 4th holiday from Eskenazi Health.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
11:33, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. My name is Casey Daniels. You can find me on Twitter, Casey Daniels 317. We're also on YouTube right now. Just type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar. Rob is out today enjoying his growing family, and Jim Roberts joins me in the studio. So more Democrats than Republicans indicated they would consider a third-party presidential candidate if Biden or Trump are the 224 major party nominees. This is according to a new poll. So Democrats in the recent, this is an NBC poll, they said they were more likely than Republicans to signal that they were open to it. 45% of Democrats say they would consider another candidate. 37% of Republicans say they would be open to it. So what does that tell you? Nearly half of all Democrats right now are saying, yeah, we'd be open to another candidate, even third party.
And you know what? That's a big deal, and probably a bigger deal than most people think, because while third party candidates, never really have a shot to win the whole thing, especially in a nationwide election like for president, they can certainly play the role of disruptor, going all the way back to 1992 and Ross Perot, who, dropped out of the campaign and then came back in. But in 1992, Perot still took 19% of the popular vote. And Bill Clinton only had like 43% of the vote. It's likely if Perot's not there, the senior Bush wins re-election. And then, of course, famously in 2000, Ralph Nader got about 3% of the vote. But in that close election, that was the majority of it were people that would have voted for Al Gore and tipped the scales toward George W. Bush. So while a lot of people, I think, look at this from the perspective of, oh, well, it's a third-party candidate, they've got no shot at winning. Yeah, that's true, but they have a very good, and in this case, maybe an easy chance to create a major disruption in the 2024 election.
Well, okay, so there's this bipartisan group. It's called No Labels, and they've been organizing an effort to put forward this third-party unity ticket made up of Democrat and Republicans if the two parties nominate somebody that these people consider unreasonably divisive candidates. And I think that you could say that to many people, clearly Joe Biden, and some communities, people would say that Donald Trump is unreasonably divisive. And even Paul Ryan, I mean, he's just as big a goober as any, but he came out and he said, I'm for anybody not named Trump right now. A Republican not named Trump, because I think we beat Biden for sure if we nominate a Republican not named Trump. And that's where Ron DeSantis should come in with his not named Trump.
Yeah, but I think the data, the polling you just talked about, seems that the willingness to go to the third party is certainly higher on the Democrat side than the Republican side. I mean, Chris Christie's saying, he's not going to support Trump and all that sort of stuff. It's unlikely for him to run as a third party. Mm-hmm. I think Biden is much more susceptible to a potential third party challenger. I think if RFK Jr., when he doesn't win the nomination, which is probably what's going to happen, he's still polling at 20 points. He's got a big decision to make, because that could be the real disruptor, and Democrats are more open to voting third party than Republicans are this time around.
Okay, so we've got RFK Jr. comes to mind, and then who else comes to mind is that Joe Manchin, because
he's been sniffing around it and dropping hints and all that sort of stuff as well, and he would be another major disruptor for Democrats.
Yeah, big party flip-flopper, right? So if that's what they're going to do, hey, just be an independent and run that way, because 45% of Democrats are saying, yeah, they'd be open to it.
I think it shows there's just an incredible amount of dissatisfaction out there on both sides, and it's leaving that door open. And who knows? I mean, we remember when Michael Bloomberg ran for president and that sort of stuff, and there's been other third-party candidates. All it would take is just a little push to have some uber-rich businessman to feed his ego and jump in there as a third-party candidate and potentially cause a lot of problems for the Democrats and Republicans.
Well, you said dissatisfaction. 74% of people in the country say it's headed in the wrong direction. It's been that way for a year. That's an enormous amount of satisfaction. You heard me railing on it this morning on our way in.
It is. We talked about it driving in this morning.
My dissatisfaction. So the Anheuser-Busch CEO, his name is Brandon Whitworth, and he seems like he's got no regrets at all about the decisions that absolutely destroyed Bud Light. And, they've released some new campaigns. They're trying to kind of make up some ground, a lot of ground that they lost. But he's suggesting that he would do it again. And he is asked directly if the Dylan Mulvaney marketing stunt was a mistake. And you know what his answer was? Nope.
Bud Light has supported LGBTQ since 1998, so that's 25 years. And as we've said from the beginning, we'll continue to support the communities and organizations that we've supported for decades. Mm-hmm. But as we move forward, we want to focus on what we do best, which is brewing great beer for everyone, listening to our consumers, being humble and listening to them, making sure that we do right by our employees, take care and support our partners, and ultimately make an impact in the communities that we serve.
Oh, you're making an impact in the communities.
Just not the way he was hoping to make an impact.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a grown man who enjoys dancing naked in front of children, then I'm sorry. You should go to jail. You can't just do this under a pride flag. But in regards to this CEO, everyone, please bear witness to a CEO who better get his resume together, because guess what? Companies are in business to make money.
They made a colossal failure on both ends because they were trying to go after a new market segment in the Alphabet crew.
And who they say they're still going to continue to support.
Exactly. But in doing that, they upset their core consumers. Mm-hmm. But now the Alphabet crew is mad at Budweiser because they're not fully supporting and doubling down on that.
Yeah.
So they've upset both segments of the market. So they've turned this, one medium disaster into an absolute huge debacle across the board.
Okay, so I want to talk about something that Joe Biden said, another truly pathetic rambling from him. He says that it was inappropriate for Barack Obama to spend time with Xi Jinping, but it's okay for him to do that. Every time Joe Biden opens up his mouth, it just seems like he further incriminates himself, and no one questions him about it. We just nod and smile and play along, even though we're finding more and more about the pay for play with foreign countries, and we're just going to give him a pass, just leave him alone and let him build his nest egg. Listen to this audio clip. He says he turned in his notes, and this is a classified document jab at Trump.
I've long said, and I mean this, I was on the Tibetan Plateau with Xi Jinping. I traveled 17,000 miles with him. I've spoken with him more than any other head of state because it started when I was vice president, and President Hu was the president, and he was the vice president. We knew he was going to be successful. It was inappropriate for Barack to spend that time with him, but I spent a lot of time with him. I met alone with him, just he and I, and a simultaneous interpreter 68 times, 68 hours. 68 times, more than 68 hours. By the way, I turned in all my notes.
Yeah, all your notes. Oh, except for those classified documents that were found in your possession on multiple occasions dating back decades. The ones next to the Corvette.
Those notes he didn't turn in. Those notes he had in the garage.
Oh, those don't count, right?
Those don't count. No.
Those. Okay, I got it. Well, because it is Hunter Biden's special day, one more audio clip of Gary Shapley, who's the IRS whistleblower. He says when investigating Hunter, he wasn't allowed to ask questions about Dad. Okay, so this guy, he's been making the rounds on the talk shows, and this is what he had to say when he was on Fox.
So that's kind of the crux of one of the issues here is that we weren't allowed to ask questions about Dad. We weren't allowed to ask about the big guy. We weren't allowed to include certain names and document requests and search warrants. So, we were precluded from following that line of questioning.
Are you convinced, looking back at this now, that this was an effort to protect President Biden and his family?
We were conducting an investigation of Hunter Biden, and we were trying to follow the normal process. We were trying to get to the bottom of it, and ultimately, if it was going to lead to another individual, we should follow that to determine what is actually happening. But there were definitely hindrances that I've never seen before in my 14 years concerning this investigation that didn't allow us to follow through on investigation of any other individual to include President Biden.
Yeah, so the words fraud and corruption keep coming to mind. It is 11:42. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. That is Jim Roberts filling in for Rob Kendall today. All right, before we go to break, let's talk about something that is absolutely 100%, 1,000%. I've seen the proof in your wheelhouse, Jim.
Yeah, what do we got?
The Reebok Team USA jacket, which was formerly worn by Michael Jordan at the 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona, recently sold, just yesterday?
Yesterday.
Last night, in fact. It sold for $1.51 million. So this was an auction that was conducted by Sotheby's, and they predicted that it was going to go between $1 and $3 million. They called it perhaps the most important dream team item to ever surface publicly. $1.51 million. I know you're into this sort of thing. Explain yourself.
Okay, so when it comes to memorabilia, and especially sports memorabilia, the really big premium pieces that sell for multiple millions of dollars, a lot of them have great stories to them. So the great story about this is Michael Jordan famously has been with Nike since he came into the NBA. They just put out the movie Air. You can watch it right now on Amazon Video that talks about Michael Jordan joining Nike. He's always a Nike guy. He's still a Nike guy to this day. So there was a huge controversy in the 1992 Olympics, which was the Dream Team and the pro players. The U.S. Olympic team was sponsored by and outfitted by Reebok.
Oh.
And all the players were expected to wear their warm-up gear on the medal stand when accepting the gold medal. And Jordan had a big problem with this. And he pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And the Olympic Committee essentially said, look, you got to do this. You're part of Team USA. This is what Team USA wears. You've got to wear this. And so the way Jordan got around it was he draped an American flag over his shoulder so it would cover the Reebok logo. And this was a big story that came out in the time. So it's that sort of story. Obviously, it's a highly desirable piece of sports memorabilia because it's Michael Jordan and it's the dream team, but it's that extra story behind it about Reebok and Nike that makes this such a desirable piece and why it sold for, $1.5 million.
Is it worth $1.5 million, another guy's jacket? Again, it's the same question that I ask Robin Hammer all the time. What are you going to do with it? You going to frame it and hang it above your fireplace?
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course I would.
You don't have a fireplace.
No, and I don't have $1.5 million either. But there are people out there that do. And here's the other part about this, too, and this has come about in the last 5 to 10 years specifically, is that ultra high net worth individuals, people that are worth, tens and tens of millions and billions of dollars, are starting to view sports collectibles as a separate investment class like stocks and bonds.
Okay.
And so you're bringing in a whole bunch of money into this because of that. People that would sit here and say, okay, I'm going to have this much of my portfolio in stocks and this much in bonds, and I'll put this much in precious metals. Now they're sitting here saying, okay, I'm going to allocate 5% of this huge wealth that I have, and I'm going to invest it in some sort of collectible because I view that as an investment that's going to grow over the next 10 to 20 years that then I can sell and make more money on like you would with a stock or a bond. So that's a big part of it that's playing into it too, and that's been a shift in the last 5 or 10 years.
Okay, so the winning bidder's name wasn't immediately known. A lot of times these are anonymous auctions. And so this person is either going to just buy and hold because they're a super fan, or they're going to buy and hold and hopefully resell it in a few years for more money.
Yeah, it's likely eventually these all get sold back onto the market because even if there's somebody that says, oh, I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan, I'm going to buy this, eventually that person passes away, and usually the family members look at their collection and say, oh, Dad had all of this and he loved it, but Dad's no longer here, so we don't want this stuff anymore, and they put it back up for auction again.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. That is Jim Roberts. And coming up, Pop-Tarts, a dead octopus, and moons, and the hardest sports in the world. We got a lot we're going to try and squeeze in.
It's a strong finish.
I know. It's a lot. We're going to try and squeeze it all in coming up on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show coming up later today, 3 o'clock. Charlie Arnold, previously of ESPN, now with Outkick and Fox News, our special guest. All the fun starts at 3, 93 WIBC.
Have you saved enough? Do you have a plan for Social Security and taxes in retirement? Hey, Casey Weed of Howard Bailey Financial, where our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we want to give you our Retire with Purpose Toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you can't outlive. Plus, you'll receive a copy of my book, Job Optional. To get your complimentary toolkit, call or text the keyword info 42 to 866-482-9559. That's info 42 to 866-482-9559.
Howard Bailey Financial is the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. For service today.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. Destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars Thursday, July 20th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, July 22nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
The share it with a friend deal. Even if that friend is yourself. Your McDonald's, your rules.
Treat yourself to tasty deals. Enjoy delicious bundles for $3.29. Try a crispy McChicken with small fries, savory McDouble with small fries, or golden 6-piece McNuggets with small fries. Find your favorite bundle today. Prices and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, Johnson County's American Standard independent heating and air conditioning dealer, invites you to celebrate America's birthday with them and have a shot at winning a Yeti cooler. Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling will be at the Franklin Firecracker Festival Monday evening, July the 3rd, by the stage with giveaways and a chance to win a new Yeti cooler. See you at Youngs Creek Park in Franklin. And with the hot weather, if you need AC service, visit callthemarshallnow.com. Marshall is your American Standard air dealer.
Head to the contest page at WIBC.com and enter for your chance to win tickets to see Winborn's Music of Pink Floyd, Friday, September 8th at TCU Amphitheater at White River State Park.
10 minutes away from noon, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Jim Roberts filling in for Rob Kendall today. So Pop-Tarts have left their customers in an uproar. They have confirmed, very quietly, however, that not all of their flavors are going to be available anymore. They still have their traditional flavors. You know, the best one, strawberry and cookies
you're
and
going to
cream.
start right there that strawberry and cookies and cream are the best, when clearly everyone knows raspberry and brown sugar.
Yeah, brown sugar is the best.
Are the two best Pop-Tart flavors. Kevin's got my back on at least one. Thank you.
Okay, well, food lovers were left devastated by the discontinuation of one flavor, peach cobbler. Who knew? Right?
I had no idea that peach cobbler Pop-Tarts even existed. So
yeah. So somebody tweeted at him and they tagged Pop-Tarts in the tweet and said, hey, I'm having a really hard time finding this peach cobbler Pop-Tart. Where can I get them? And Pop-Tarts replied and said, oh, they're gone. Customer wanted to know, where can I locate these? Oh, you cannot. They are gone. They're not available anymore. So who knew that peach cobbler Pop-Tarts would be so upsetting to such a large amount of people?
apparently there wasn't a large enough amount to keep them around. My guess is the sales weren't all that great on peach cobbler Pop-Tarts, and that's why Pop-Tarts gave them the heave-ho.
Okay, so if you're trying to locate a peach cobbler Pop-Tart, sorry, you're going to be out of luck. But from one food item to maybe another, this is weird. Authorities, they're investigating after a dead octopus was found in the bathroom in a park in Columbus, Indiana. Mark Jones, who is the Columbus Parks Department director, said the octopus was found in the restroom at Millrace Park, and the octopus was dead when it was found. So this octopus, they have a picture of it, and besides the cigarette butt that's on the floor, the octopus is hanging half out of the toilet. And it's dragging. Octopus are so creepy looking. But they said they're going to investigate this.
Yeah, that's the part that's confusing me the most on this story, because I'm not quite sure what there is to investigate. It's somebody left an octopus in the bathroom. You just throw it in the trash and you move on with your life. If I left my ham sandwich in the bathroom, is there going to be an investigation into that?
Ham sandwich versus an octopus. Have you ever eaten octopus, Kevin?
Yeah, I love octopus.
Really? What's it taste like?
It's got kind of a rubbery texture to it, and it's not very fishy tasting at all.
No, it tastes like
it's kind of like calamari if you've ever had it.
What do you eat? The tentacles?
Yeah, the tentacles. Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah, I would imagine the kind of bulbous head part would not be very edible or not very appealing.
I've never had the head part, and I don't even know if they really serve that. I mean, they probably do somewhere, but it's big in Mediterranean cuisines.
Yeah. So do you think that this is somebody who bought an octopus to use as food and decided they were done with it? Or was this someone's pet, and like a fish, when they pass away, you flush them, but they didn't want to flush this octopus at home because it would clog up their own home?
So they tried to flush it
so they go to the park
bathroom.
Right.
I think it was just a prank.
You think so?
Yeah.
But they put that's an elaborate prank. I mean, most pranks, somebody graffitis something or, vandalizes something to go out and source an octopus, which maybe you can get an octopus at your local Kroger or Meijer or something like that. But I would think it would be difficult to go somewhere.
You'd have to go to a fish market.
Go to a fish market.
Specialty foods.
Go to a fish market, get an octopus,
and
then bring it to this park bathroom and throw it in the toilet.
What? See, and you question why they should investigate this. I want to know. I want to know who where, why, how. I want to know all the details about this octopus.
I think that the authorities have more pressing needs to take care of.
Apparently, things are going pretty well in Columbus that they've got time to
That's
investigate.
it, people. Stop everything you're doing right now. We got to get on this octopus deal.
How long do you get locked up for dropping an octopus in a toilet?
Well, is that even a crime? Like, what? There's
littering.
Other than it's gross. Maybe I would say they're on their way to a Red Wings game and they're going to throw the octopus on the ice for a hat trick, but that's not the right season for that.
Right, NHL playoffs are over.
What are they, just having a little snack? I'm going to eat this octopus. I'm done.
I'm going to eat it in this park bathroom?
I don't know. See?
Everything. I hate everything about this story.
That's why it needs to be investigated. We need answers. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Kevin. Good job today. And thank you for listening. We're going to count on you to be back here tomorrow. It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You've undoubtedly heard of the calm before the storm. Well, Michaelis is the calm after the storm. More than 3 decades of restoring damage from wind, rain, and hail. They've got your back, not to mention your front, side, and roof. It's why home and business owners beat a path to Michaelis' door, because it's always answered around the clock with welcome arms. Your port in the storm. From site security and tarping services to complete restoration work, they can handle anything Mother Nature throws your way. Seasoned and trustworthy pros who are never deterred by a little wind and rain.